Facts. I told you it's going to be a strong fast. Y'all want to get into some Q&A or we just get right into it? How we doing it? Throw back. Everybody come in and get comfortable. Don't get too comfortable. Are we seeing anything?
Do you have to be on semen retention to put out that call for April 4th?
Do you have to be on semen retention? No, I actually thought about it, interestingly enough. I thought about sparking one off for April 1st, so don't be surprised if that comes. But no, you don't have to. No, it's better for you to be. But trust me, listen, as you keep going on this walk, it's going to come like second nature. You're going to want to do it anyway. It's going to happen for all of us. I'm telling you that. The lighter you become, the lighter you're going to want to be. You understand? I just watched Chris Brown's 11:11 video. I think it was called 11:11. Right? He was carrying a bag through the desert, walking across that desert. And every traveler knows you're supposed to travel light. You understand? So eventually, as I'm watching the video, I said, that's too much weight. You can't travel like that. Eventually, he had to drop that weight off to be able to get to where his children were. His children were waiting on him. Remember, I told you who the 144,000 are originally supposed to be, your children. You understand? The time for those of us who want to claim it for ourselves has actually passed. It's just that you're doing a job. You understand? 144,000 are doing the job. So you've elected or chosen or selected yourself to perform a task. But a part of that task is bringing the children forth and making sure that they can get to that point. You understand? And by your performing that task for your children, you also receive a mercy of your future being secured. Same thing that happened with Hawa, or the one who was called Eve. All right. The reason why Eve was able to secure her soul future-wise was because of her ability to bring forth children. You understand? And to reverse the damage that was being done per the original deception, as they call it. It was a deception. But in all actuality, she chose. Eve chose. You understand? And that's a key thing. Both of them knew the law. Zakar and Eve knew the law. She chose. But there is a reversal. The way to reverse the damage that's been done to your genetics is, for one, making the decisions per your own will, like what you're doing now, to become better, literally. And when you do that, it's going to register in your genes and pass on to your children. And even if you've already had those children and they're here looking up to you literally and waiting to see what you're going to do, all right, every time you make a conscious decision to do better, epigenetically is affecting your children. You understand? So if you want your children to be raised up more wise, put more books in front of them, okay, teach them to listen when the elders speak, okay, make sure that they're hearing tones of wisdom, all right? If you want your children to be more poised or more composed, make sure you expose them to meditation and prayer as soon as they know what those words are. As soon as you can even explain the concept or the precept, make sure you introduce it to them, and it'll become resonating in their genes, and it'll sit there and grow later on as a seed. You understand? Which is what was done for me. Okay? So you perfect yourself through your children. Treat it like a project. Okay? Carry it like a project. On your way to the science fair. Are you hearing me? Because this affair is about what you know, by the way. And science means what you know. Okay, so carry this project with knowledge and understanding, and right knowledge, right wisdom, right understanding, and saying because we went wrong doesn't mean that our children have to go wrong. And what you mean by the children is just saying simply our future. So meaning just because we've made mistakes, all right, in the present doesn't mean that we have to continue to make them in the future. All right, so long story short, to give you that direct answer, it may be April 1st that we do another semen retention journey. And if we do, it'll be up to the solstice. It won't be just 90 days. It'll be 120 days, okay, or so on, leading up to the solstice. You understand? That's the key point. Hope you're paying attention because I just gave you a gem.
Two things. First, people were asking about the moon being visible while the sun is out.
Right.
Like, what's up with that?
You can find that in Al-Quran. I think the Quran spoke about that. It was one of the signs of the times. Okay, the signs of the times of the coming of Dar al-Islam, or the New Jerusalem, or what's referred to as a holy city. Quetzalcoatl, a lot of different names for it, depending on what part of the world you were coming from or what religion you were coming from. But it was a sign of the time. And you know that at one point in time it wasn't that way, because even biblically they speak and say that there was a greater light and a lesser light. You understand? There was the sun and the moon that was created. In the Quran, chapter 17, verse 12, you'll find that also, where they said that there was a greater light and a lesser light. You understand? So one light was supposed to rule over the day, and the other light was supposed to rule over the night. Okay? And that night light was accompanied by other day rulers that were visible from your planet, or this planet, our planet, okay, that were called stars. Are you with me? And was beyond the vault, or the firmament, as you call it here. Okay, so a lot of people may think the sun and the moon were the only lights that were in conversation, but they were also taken into consideration, especially when they had it in the book of Job, where they were asking them, were you there when we built this firmament? Were you there when we built the galaxies? Were you there when we built the heavens? No, you weren't there. Can you name these stars? Same way, can you name the grains of sand that you're walking over? You understand? Or do you know the names of these animals? You understand? So there were other lights that accompanied the night, and they were called stars, which were also day rulers of whatever plane or planet or solar system they existed and ruled over or commanded over. You understand? So it's clear that there has been a shift, and that shift is saying, and another shift that's being spoken of now by your scientists is called the pole shift, literally, where the magnetosphere becomes weakened. Okay, because every 300 to 500,000 years, now it's been 780,000 some odd years, okay, there's a pole shift where north becomes south, south becomes north. It's something that's also spoken of in El Quran. You understand? At least is what they refer to when they say that the sun was supposed to be rising from its west. Okay, or locationally speaking, the west would be the place that the sun would be viewed as coming up. Okay, but another way they looked at it is saying that if they saying from the sun's west, they're speaking about its location, saying that you will be seeing it from positionally, the sun being positioned on its west, it would be rising up. Okay, basically saying it's no longer rising in the east. All right, meaning the east would no longer be east, it would have to be west. And west would have had to be east. And you got to remember that the sun only appears to rise. It's not actually rising. And it only appears to set. Okay, so when we said Luke 21, chapter 25, there will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay, we're speaking about lights. If you were looking at a clock, it's like the little lines on the clock or the numbers on the clock or how the hands move. It's saying that there's a system that's been programmed or set in place with what they refer to as an ordinance in the biblical scripture. All right. There's been an ordinance that when you start to see those things shift and change, know that we're pulling those gears or we're pulling those levers for those things to shift and change. That's why we said the days would be shortened. Okay. Not that the days would be short. They would be shortened. To put that end on it is to say that somebody or something or some type of force is causing for this thing to take place. That's why I told you, pay attention. Since 2020, I've been telling people to pay attention. Your scientists are sneaking off in the background saying that you have less days in a year. You understand? Ultimately. Or that these days are moving by faster. Okay, well, they have the 28 days in 2021. All right, the more days are coming faster now. They got to start factoring in the leap second. And eventually they're going to tell you that it's 366 days in a year instead of 365 days because the rotation of your planet Earth is speeding up. Okay, look at it. You're already at the end of February. Are you paying attention? Of 2024, meaning you only have 10 months left in this year. Okay, and you were just saying how 2024 was going to be. I was just talking to Mrs. Faith. I said, doesn't it seem like a day doesn't even seem like a day anymore? A day seems like an hour would seem. Okay, it gets sped up. But that's why I told you, you have to adhere to the science of the quickening. Okay, you have to be quickened. And if you can figure out what I'm explaining to you to be aligned so that you can see what I'm saying, the quickening takes place through Christ. Okay, and if you can't pick up on that science, you're left behind already. All of the breakdowns of whether or not it's Haru or Tammuz and all this other stuff, that's in the past. Okay, you still would have had to get the science. Even if you say Herod or Horus was Jesus, did you understand what Horus brought? Because most people that are saying that, if you talk to them about the school of the bird, they don't know what you're talking about. And I grew up on the school of the bird, or grew up going to the school of the bird. Okay, it was called Thamare. Okay, it was right there saying this is the time of Re, the time of Ra, time to arise. All right, and you saw Horus as Herut, okay, right there associated with the sun. visible from the bird's eye view with an understanding, you would have been able to make out that Tamaray was lined out to be the headdress of Horus, or the school of the bird. You understand? So if you say Jesus is Horus, you still have to know what he said. You still have to know the message. If you say it's Isa, if you say it's Ilias, whatever tone you want to call it, you still have to understand the truth, the life, and the way. And if you can't understand the truth, the life, and the way, no matter what tone you're using, how are you going to make it farther or make it unto the Father? You understand? If you haven't yet mastered that which made Tahuti the 3 times great, or Hermes Trismegistus, all right, or the thrice great, or the thrice wise. What made Tahuti that? How did he understand that? How did he activate that 1, that 2, and that 3? You understand? The truth, the life, and the way. That gave you that pyramid that needed to be activated for that central fire to come forth. That ignition of the heart that Jesus was pointing to in them images. You understand? Yeah, they might have changed the color of the man in the image, but they're still telling the same science. It's still teaching the same thing. Whether or not you understand it is a whole different conversation. So in order for people to be renewed or rebirthed in this day and time, to be able to ascend, all right, they have to reach that point that Jesus also reached. You understand? And that's why they refer to it as the quickening, meaning you have to speed up. And I've been explaining to you that when we're dealing with the chakra points, all right, because you have 7 of them that people were speaking about. In my book, How to Love Again, I broke down that there were 2 other ones that people weren't speaking about before I spoke on it, which was the ground one, because you can't have the root chakra without the ground. All right, so you have the ground or the soil chakra, and then you have the heaven chakra. All right, I explained to you in the book, How to Love Again, that the ground was called Adama. All right, there was a word for it, Adama. All right, which gave you Adam, who was taken from the ground or created out of the dust of the ground, okay, as a lower level nested being of the material plane. And Adam or Adama was supposed to have received the ruh or the spirit, okay, which would have aligned him, all right, as Shu is what he called it, Shu. He would have received that spirit, and it would have caused for him to become a living being or a living soul, which would have created a corona, all right, or a glow or a halo, meaning he went right up there with the sun, all right, also referred to as Shamsi. Okay, or who. Okay, when you say who, you were saying he. All right, that's why a lot of you have to get familiar with the tones. We're going to get into it. You'll learn about Yahuwah, all right, El Yahuwah. All right, when you're saying Yahuwah, you're saying Yahuwah for the people who come from that orientation. But it was a Hawa, all right, that you were speaking about, because Hua or Hawa or Haya brought you to life. So when we said man became a living soul, we were saying living as in life, living, Eve. All right. And the only way you could have reached that Eve is if you had the proper teachings of those degrees leading up to the corona activation. And that corona or crown activation, which is why we said the 144,000 received their crowns, or the elect ones received their crowns. If you said 144,000, 1 plus 4 plus 4, then you would be speaking about the 9, right? The 9. Right? So if you're speaking about the 9, then you're saying 1 plus 4 plus 4. You wouldn't be saying 2 plus 5. You wouldn't be saying 4 plus 3. You wouldn't be saying 6 plus 1. All right? You're only speaking about 9. So that means that you have to factor in the first chakra, which is the ground, and the 9th chakra, which is the heavens. All right? So you understand where Eve is. So we say, our Father, listen to me, pay attention, which art in heaven, our Father, which art in heaven, farther, going beyond where we are, which art in heaven. How do you say Father in Hebrew or Hebrew? You would have said Abba, all right? If you were to write Abba, all right, as they would have actually written it as that B would have had that V sound, or that V would have had that B sound, okay, meaning they're interchangeable, you would have said Ava, and Ava or Ava would have gave you Eve, or given you Eve, E-V-E. You understand? So you will find that, of course, they wanted to cut down the trees and they wanted to disclude the mother and put her out of the conversation, as you say, the Father, the Son, and this Holy Ghost. Meaning no one knows who or what these beings are. All right? That's when you say Ashira. Most people say who? Exactly. Yeah, I'm talking about who. But you're speaking about a force, a feminine force, that even the Buddhists and the Sikhs and the Jainis were speaking about long before you had Christianity. You would have had to go 14,000, 15,000 years before Christianity showed up. You understand? To say that there's a new religion that's being called Christianity, but there was an old religion or old way of life called the Tao, all right, which aligned right there with Islam, which is why we say Darul Islam. Okay, you're saying the abode of peace, which is why most of the human beings who took that walk realized what it was about. Say it was all about tranquility. All right. It was all about transcending into that point where we saw that it was somebody who had a quill. Stay with me. All right. Tranquility. And quill was the pen. And who was the one with the pen? It was called Allah. He was called Allah. All right. And then you had the Alihat, are the ones who followed in that order. So you would have said Najar or Neter, and then you would have said Neteru. Okay. Which is why Mother Neter or Medu Neter brings you back around to the woman. All right. But Tahuti was the one who had that pen. And he wrote all things, okay, literally all things into existence. But it was Ma'at who was in the shadows. Okay, so you had the Amunet, okay, in the shadows, the hidden one. People did not know who that feminine aspect was or what that feminine aspect was. So it remained a question. And people continued to try to seek that through the ages. So you had history and mystery. That's why we said there were ancient mysteries, okay? My story. And who was the Ma that they were speaking about? My story. And Ma is the mother. So the mother has her own story, but his story has been told. How do we know that? We go back to the book of Genesis, chapter 3, okay? Or the third degree is what it's referred to in the higher sciences. Okay, you go to the third degree of genealogy of Isis, Genesis, and you'll find that it was saying that there was going to be enmity between Eve and the serpent. Okay, Eve's seed and the serpent's seed, meaning the woman's seed and the serpent's seed. Okay, so you had the woman's story and her mysteries, my stories, that were hidden and kept cloaked, okay, or veiled. And then you had his story. And when you say his story, you can literally hear phonetically the his sound in the word, his. So a lot of people stopped at just saying the his, okay, because they got that from Dr. Malachi York, all right? He said his story. But when you listen, you'll hear the his. You understand, to know that this is Nekas' story, and Nekas has a way of giving you a word, all right, that means multiple things and not disclosing the meaning. This is why the Masons were told to worship under Halal, okay, under the moon, or under Helan, okay, which is the old Anglo-Saxon or the old English way of saying to conceal a thing. And we were taught to conceal only and keep all things concealed or covered and never reveal, which is a violation of the cosmos, because there's a negative and a positive. Okay, there's a dark and a light. Even when we stand on them floors, all right, there's literally a black and a white side of the floor. So I was the only one sitting in the I was the only one sitting in the dome, I was the only one who the mother was pregnant with, all right, being conceived, meaning even the mother had to conceive me before I could conceive myself or know who I was. All right, where I had that moment of realization. I was the only one sitting in the lodge, or what's referred to as the water house or the blue house, saying, wait a minute, this is a violation. And they're giving us this oath, or this oath to say that we're only supposed to conceal. Right here in Luke chapter 12, verse 2, I can see where it's saying clear as day that there will come a time where all things that were concealed must be revealed. I can look in the Quran and read these chapters, these surahs. I can read Al-Nur, and I can read about the light, and I can read about how they're literally saying there will come a time where all these things that were concealed had to be revealed. But Nakas didn't want to reveal these sacreds. You want to know why they were so upset with me? When I stepped forth and said, yeah, I'm a Mason. When I stepped forth and said, yeah, I took the Obi. When I said in the letter to the baby song, said we both took an oath. Okay, but my oath has been broken. Why? Because my oath is not to man. My oath is to Most High. You understand? My oath is not to dad. My oath is to mama. Okay? Or you say, Ma Mary, meaning my Mary, or mammary, the glands that allow for me to be nurtured. Are you listening to me? All right? If I'm going to give my reverence to anybody, that's why I say you go listen to the Yay Not Crazy song. All right? Well, I say what? I couldn't wait for no man to raise them. I said, Mama, the reason I am a Mason. Are you listening to me? Just look at my mannerisms. Okay? I'm explaining to you something. We had to go through that science where we learned who and what the supreme being was. And when we found out that it was the mother, we were told to do this. We were told to be quiet and say, grand architect of the universe. All right? Not the one who gave you the id or this personality if you go study, Sigmund Freud with, psychology. Okay? No, not that. Not the idea, the one who gave you the id of Ea, or the earth, the idea of earth and all things that you would have found in this reality. No, you go straight to Tahuti. Okay? But forget all about Ma'at. All right? That's why I told you there are further degrees. Now, Tahuti would have been the first Allah, or El, okay, as in that right angle, the big L, that gave mankind the knowledge of 90 degrees, but he did not come up with the information himself. He didn't realize the information himself. His counterpart, Ma'at, was the one who was bringing forth that wisdom or that science. Okay, that's why I explained to you, you don't hear the Eastern stars speaking. They're silent or they're hidden. You don't know who and what they are, but they're already in that white. Never forget that. Okay, so we came through when we learned there's a supreme being. As a matter of fact, before we were able to give our oath as a traveler or a Mason, all right, we had to first acknowledge, bear witness to, it was almost like taking Shahada as a Muslim. Okay, we had to bear witness to the fact that there's a supreme being. Okay, they asked you, who is your supreme being? You had to say God. You said Allah. Some niggas said Lucifer. Some niggas said Shaitan. Okay, which is weird because that wouldn't have been the supreme being, but it would have been their supreme being. All right, and they somehow associated that with the grand architect of the universe, but they forgot about that other part. They kept it hidden, and they only wanted mankind to know about mankind's ruling. That's Isaiah, okay, saying that we're going to build our kingdom above God's. All right, but they know what they're saying when they say that G or show forth that G. And they know that the sun was not actually masculine. It was a feminine force. You understand that? But it became what? The sun is the man. All right, with me? And the moon was the woman. But they're trying to relate it to gender as in mankind and womankind. All right, but they forgot about the force itself that allows for that thing to exist. Mother Nature. You don't stop at the plants. You don't stop at the water. You don't stop at the rocks. You go into the sun, the stars, which are other suns. All right, other galaxies composed of other suns and stars. All right, you go into the nebula. You go into the black holes. Every natural occurrence, whether you understand it or not, still operates within that which you call Mother Nature. All right, this is where we say you have to come back around what Jesus was pointing to that center, that you might rise up off that cross, activate that heart. All right, and then from that ignition of the heart, this was the Rosicrucian science. All right, you go to the phase 1 Rosicrucian on the Brother Young Elders page. I did a whole build on that, the 9 chambers and all of that. All right, once you figured out how to ignite the heart, now the pineal gland, as you call it, the third eye that you used to have active, is able to see that true light that was hidden inside of you, which is why they rushed to tamper with, and we'll deal with that in a second, the image of Christ. Because it wasn't just about making him a Caucasoid. It was about associating him, that's why we say image of the beast, with the red light. Notice that the heart that he's pointing to is a red light. But if you study the chakra points that came before that image ever arrived, all right, where you had the root, then you had the sacral, then you had the solar plexus, then you had the heart chakra, it's green, not red. You understand? But they made sure people not only saw the red heart glow, all right, they also saw a Caucasoid image of Jesus, which caused confusion, because anybody who actually studied these stories deep enough, if you would have believed it, you would have known that if you go back far enough, you would not have seen those people in that area, geographically speaking, all right, and historically speaking, at that time period. So there the confusion came on. You understand? So what they say, they would deceive the whole world, made people think of an image, okay, that had nothing to do with the story. And then when people rejected the image, what did they in turn do? This is what they wanted you to do. You rejected the whole story. Okay, so then now when we say Jesus, all you can see is a Caucasoid. So because that's why I have a teaching that says racism turned people away from Christ. Okay, because of your issue with the Caucasoid, for whatever your reason is in 2024, because of your issue with the Caucasoid, all right, and you had some people had their reasons because their ancestors had to go through hell dealing with these beings who at that time were devils. You understand? For the things that they were doing. Okay, then you have your reason. A lot of people don't have no reason. They just want to be upset with the Caucasoid because it feels good to have somebody to blame. All right, you don't have enough responsibility, meaning you're not able to respond at that point because you already pointed and said Bill did it. You know what I mean? But because of the racism or the prejudice to Caucasoids, a lot of people have been taught away from Christ, especially in the spiritual community. But yet they still use the same science that Christ was bringing forth, and they don't understand it. All right, and then they'll say they're here to wake people up, like the Christians and the Muslims, but they have not read their books. They don't understand the stories. They haven't taken the time to even not just deal with the esoteric, but the exoteric, meaning not just the allegorical side, but what was the literal side of what we're speaking about, meaning how would these things look today in a literary sense? All right, interestingly, they say literary is dealing with words. Okay, meaning a visual sense, a tangible sense, how do these things work? If you say a third eye or the light of the body is the eye, what does that have to do with my brain and the pineal gland? Can you explain it? All right, and then have them explain it. And then go into all of the different stuff. So they try to take Charles Thompson's book all right, the metaphysical Bible, they try to take that and say this is the real book. I say, which one makes more sense? Charles Tunstall, who just got here yesterday, makes a metaphysical Bible. He doesn't even make his own book. He just put the word metaphysical in front of it, which means literally going beyond physical, which is a trap. Because if you ask anybody about anything that operates beyond physicality of the first, the second, and third dimension, they cannot explain it. So it was a trap, all right, which is one of the things we learned in the Hermeticus. Don't fall for the metaphysics trap, okay? So they don't even understand physics. They say metaphysics because you don't have to explain real physics. You understand? So they say a metaphysical Bible. They still put the word Bible there, and they're basically giving you a tafsir, all right, or a commentary on a book that most of them still haven't read. Okay, so they'll do a metaphysical Bible. Charles Thompson probably never read the book cover to cover. He didn't have to. Why? Because there were already philosophers or people who were theologians, all right, or theologians who came out and said, yo, we want to put our own meaning to this. We want to say it means this. Yeah, we know he said 12 disciples, but he was talking about 12 zodiac signs. And then you find out it was more than 12 zodiac signs. And now what do you do? So you gotta, can they account for the 70 disciples who were there before they started to trail back and say they're not going to continue moving forward? You got to continue this allegory bullshit. So let's deal with the truth. After you get past the allegory, which you can put an allegory to anything. We can put an allegory to a game, a shopping mark, or whatever. After you're done with the allegory game, what's the literary? You understand? Who were these stories referring to? Because we're here. So ask these people, how did we get here? You know what I mean? How did we get here? What's your creation story? Somehow everybody, even the ancestors that they refer to, they put the ancestors, remember I told you they put everybody's ancestors in one box for some reason. Like we all have the same family members. All right, but they say the ancestors, even your ancestors have a creation story. Whether you go to Odumare, Osumare, whatever you're going to, you can go to the beings who were ruling over Turtle Island, the Kachina. Okay, what do you want to go to? You can go to Tefnut Shu and who was it? Tefnut Shu and Atum Re. Or Atum Ra, you can go there. What do you want to go? You go ancient Egypt, you go Turtle Island, wherever. Anywhere you go, the Phoenicians, everybody has a creation story. So you weren't there to bear witness to any of that. So you can neither confirm nor deny, yet you step out to deny. And that's how we know. And then you have the ones who do know, based off of either their oral tradition or their own experiences or encounters, or from being able to read the real books. They know what the real books are that are stored in the Vatican, all right, where they took out the extraterrestrial parts and was like, yo, we're going to keep, they took out Enoch's book and said that's too extraterrestrial. You know what I mean? And they do the Ezekiel's will can be an allegory. But if you're talking about somebody actually walking with angels, you're going to have to explain that. You can say Ezekiel had a vision, but when you say Enoch walked with angels through 10 heavens, or 7 heavens, or 3 heavens, however many, all right, throughout these 3 books he was walking through, then you're going to have to explain what do you mean by that. That's not an allegory. You're talking about an extraterrestrial encounter. What is this city of Jerusalem that's supposed to be coming down from God out of heaven? That's an extraterrestrial encounter. So they wanted to remove that. Even the Ministry of Defense, who's called Winston Churchill, interestingly enough, was saying, don't tell people who or what the unknowns are. All right? Don't teach people about UFOs. He said it will destroy their belief in the church. Go look it up. Okay, go watch a documentary called Unacknowledged, and you'll probably see it in there. Not Unacknowledged. It was another one, Phenomenon, and it was another film, a documentary called Above Majestic. You go watch that. Okay, they put a lot of these different documentations where you had J.F. Kennedy and the rest of the people, and they hold paperwork. You know what I mean? J. Edgar Hoover, everybody was in there. They tell on everybody in them documentaries, but people don't know to go watch them documentaries. Okay, point being, if we're dealing with extraterrestrials, then we need to know what that is. We need to know about that story. So instead of telling people God doesn't exist, because that's an easy way out, all right, how about you set out on the path or rise up on the path instead of saying set out? How about you rise up on the path and go and find out for yourself whether or not God is real or not real? And people don't feel like they have time. Okay, people are not longevo in these days. It's all about what's instantaneous. They don't feel like they have time to go out and find God or figure out who the extraterrestrial beings are or make a connection with the Elohim. They claim that they want to go within, and then we give them the science of the within and tell them to partner with the without, and they can't come out after they go within. But you still got to be able to step out here too and realize how this reality or simulation is affected by your assimilation or what you know. You understand that? So we gave you the letter, right? I've been writing letters. Letter to this person, letter to that person. I just did letter to T.I. I mean, I've been writing letters, but I told you from the beginning, what is the letter? Everybody should know by now. I went over it 3 times. Okay? The letter is G. All right? That same letter that sat within the center, all right, or the kitab or couture point of the Masonic emblem, all right, of the square and compasses. Are you with me? So why was it the G? And I've explained to you before that G and key align with each other. And you need that key to open up that tab. All right? Meaning you need that key to be able to unlock that tabernacle, which is that holy place or that dwelling place, where at that point you're standing beyond the solar plexus and you're right there with your feet at the crossroad. All right? And that G is activated. You want to find something interesting? When you look at the letter G as a shape and a letter or a sigil, all right, for y'all it's like this. All right? Realize it's like an arrow. It's pointing directly to the center. It's telling you what the letter is there for. All right? It'll point to the center. As a matter of fact, it's a circle and a square. Never forget that. It's a circle as in a half circle, and it's a half of a square. All right? And when you put those two together and complete it, you get 360 and 360 as in the degrees, and that's 720. All right? And you needed to have 720 because mankind has a doppelganger, or mankind has a twin, and that twin is your soul. You understand? Go listen to my song Sermon. All right? And I say, I done learned to see my soul as my body friend. You know what I mean? They work right with each other. Okay? That car had to be in alignment and that body had to be in alignment. This is how you charge yourself up. Listen to the word charge. Electricity, elect, become one of the elect. Okay? Meaning you had to learn and master the flesh, 360 degrees. Then you had to learn and master the soul, 360 degrees. And that yielded for you that 720, okay, of this God body that people are talking about now, that you would have been in the Nesut realm. And then from there on, in your mind first, consciously, you would have climbed up from Nesut and made your way into what we refer to as Melekut. Okay, when we say Melekut, you can hear Melekite in it. All right, you can also hear Meleki, which means a master. You can also hear Malaika, which means angels or messengers who come from Melekut. All right, which is a higher plane. All right, this is Sufi cosmology if you want to go study it. All right, it's basically saying Sufis who studied the heavens. All right, when you rolled yourself up, grab hold of that rope. And climbed up, hold fast, all together. See to it that you are not divided. And you took your 720 up there. And you learned with the Malakis, all right, or the Malaikas, or Malaikat, all right. Then you were given another 720. Guess what that made you? A part of the 144, 1440, 144,000, 1440. All right, when you were receiving all of these degrees, still gave you mastery. All right, listen to the word mastery, where you still got mystery. And you had 3 plus 6 equals 9. Mastery. All right. 7 plus 2 equals 9. Mastery. 1 plus 4 plus 4 equals 9. Mastery. All right. So this is how you activated that spirit, that key. All right. Which is referred to as literally key as spirit, or QI or CHI, spirit key. All right. But KEY as a thing that you can use to open a thing, as an opener like Todd gave you, which we've gone over. I think it was 19 keys exposed. We did that in. All right. As the opener, Todd gave you a key. Okay, and then after you access that key, now you can stand right there in the holy place or in the shrine and you open it. And guess where it leads you right to? The center. All right, and let me show you something. If you look at your clock, you will find the mystery of this. All right, go look at a clock. Just pay attention to how it gives you 12, 3, 6, and 9. All right, that whole lineup, okay, for the circle. And then right there in the center, you have a point. And then the second hand and the hour hand turns. All right. So when you're looking at a clock, look at the word C lock. All right. Stay with me. C lock. And in the center, listen, of the clock, you have this point, this fulcrum point, or this focal point, or this concentration point, or this attention point, or this mass tension point, where mass has tension to be able to turn and wind or unwind. All right. Whether you're saying clockwise or counterclockwise. At that central point, okay, you say C enter. All right. You have to be able to see to enter. And you have to be able to see where the lock was. Clock, center. Are you with me? So stay with me. What do you call the, listen, if I tell somebody, hold on, I'll be there. It'll be a little what? Wait. Stay with me. W-A-I-T. It's going to be a little wait. All right. Saying I will be there, but it's going to be a little W-E-I-G-H-T. Wait. All right, there was something that they literally gave you when a clock went off, alarm clock, stay with me. There was a bell that went off. They called it the what? Alarm bells or the alarm clock. And when we lifting these weights, they call them dome bells. All right, where that dome, like the gong was hit, made a sound. Are you with me? And all they did was just speed up the frequency to give you the alarm clock. All right, and then you were called to what? Attention. More people had to arrive at that attention, like in the day of standing or Yom Kippur, or right now what's happening now, where you have the horns being blown or the trumpets being blown. things, events, signs are supposed to be getting your attention. The alarm clock. Go listen to Letters from a Watcher, Faiseone the Don on SoundCloud. All right, the first song on there after the intro is Alarm Clock. Are you with me? So you lifting these dumbbells, okay, which is supposed to strengthen a person, or these dumbbells. And if you look at the dumbbell, matter of fact, I got one. Right? If you look at this dumbbell, I'm going to act like I can hold this bitch up. Right? You look at this, you see the first point and the second point. Right? If you look at it close enough, you'll see it's like an hourglass. All right? And there's a rod in the center. And that rod is referred to as the bar. Okay? The bar. Now, if I say the bar, I'm talking about speech for one. Okay? But if I'm saying bar, it's also another word that was used. You say you got the bar mitzvah. All right. But if you say bar in Hebrew, another word they gave you was pure. All right. So once you reach a certain level of purity, like I'm explaining to you, all right, and you're going to find more about that in the book, X Marks the Spot. Okay. Once you reach a certain level of purity where you have Vishuddha, all right, Vishuddha, which is literally the blue chakra or the throat chakra, then you're able to activate a new realm and be redeemed from the old earth. That's why I told you, look at the word bar. And when I say raise the bar, all right, I'm saying raise your speech. Okay, never forget the bar means speech. All right, so when you look at this bar right here, all right, if we were driving a vehicle, okay, these would be two wheels. All right, and what would they call this conglomerate? It's referred to as a wheel and what? Axle. Okay, so you have the wheel and axle. Another way to say axle, okay, or a central point is to say axis. All right. And if you wanted access, stay with me. If you wanted access to that which needed to be unlocked in time, remember the time, Michael, okay, then you had to activate your will. All right. Because only the Mashiach had access to it. And when you say the word Mashiach, it literally means will. Go look it up. Okay. So what do you say? No one will make it unto the Father. You ain't going nowhere. You're not going to get farther without having your will activated. And that's where you have to be able to steer. And that's why I say I'll never steer you wrong. Okay, I'm telling you how to control your car, which means your body. All right. And then from there on, you're able to continue with the higher sciences, astral projection, and realize what Tahuti was actually speaking about with the 1 and the 2 and the 3. So look at this. When we say the word axis, A-X-I-S, okay, we're saying A-C-C-E-S-S, okay, to be able to access a thing. And if people wanted to access a thing, that axis had to be present. Are you with me? That's why I say enter, center, all right? Axis, access, clock, see the lock, all right? Go through the center. What was the center? Now let's go back to the being called Isa or Jesus, all right? Because he was on a cross. Stay with me, all right? And while he was on that cross, he made a statement. He said, Ela, Ela, lama sabachthani. Okay, Ela, Ela, lama sabachthani. And people said, that is to say, all right, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? All right, now I broke this down in an Out of the Darkness book where I explained to you, Ela, Ela gave you two L's, two different L's. All right, two different frequencies, dark, light. Okay, and when you saw lama sabachthani, you were literally saying lamb or sabak. All right. So you had the lamb, all right, which everyone had to follow in order to get access to the Mount Zion, which is the Mount Heaven, all right, or the elevated space in heaven. And we'll get to that in a second, where you have to raise the bar or raise your voice and sing a song as if it were a new song. Revelation chapter 14. OK, you have to walk with the lamb. That's why I tell y'all peace in the lamb is truly wonderful, to let you know what degree we're at. Okay, because Imam Isa already came as the lamb. He already gave you the letter of lamb or the knowledge of lamb. He already said, fear no longer. All right, to whom it may concern, fear no longer. Meaning, don't resonate with sex world, which is fear. No longer. I have arrived. He was telling you what time it was. Okay, from the 70s on up to the 2030, he was explaining to people, this is that hour. All right, the album I just came out with is called Ninth Hour. All right, and Wedding of the Lamb is on the way, February 28th. Are y'all walking? You understand? So you had the Sabak and the Lamb. Go watch the movie Black Adam. Okay? What chakra did I highlight in the How to Love Again book as Adam, the black one? or the dark one. They come out with a movie, Black Adam. And in the Black Adam movie, Black Adam had the lightning symbol, all right? Of course, this is a comic book before it became a movie, all right? But he had the lightning symbol on his chest, and he had to go against Sabak, all right? And they were fighting for the crown of Sabak. And Sabak appeared with a pentagram, all right, on his chest, raising up out of hell, with hellfire coming from his central point. Fire, all right, Nar as opposed to Nur, or Noir as opposed to Nuwar, all right, because you have different types of light. You have the Or, then you have the Ish, all right? Ish was fire, and Or was speaking about a light that those people at that time really didn't understand, okay, because it's like the light that's coming off of your phone. Are you with me? So you watch that movie, they were fighting over that crown. Right at the time this movie came out, right around the time where people was just trying to figure out what happened with Corona. And I told you, Corona means crime. All right, it gives you crime. And crime meant the God of time. It's all about time, meaning because it's all literally about time that people woke up. We've been waiting for people to get here. Literally, we've been waiting. We've been holding this weight, watching people try to cross that crossroad for a long time. They just didn't have the key. And now they have it. Now they can open it up and step right here in the tabernacle again, all right, as we were telling you to do decades ago. Are you with me? So they fought over and over and over and over about that crown. They show you that in the movie. Are you with me? So Sabak was the goat, Sabachthani. Lama was the lamb, Lama. The word Lama means why in Hebrew, okay? The word Sabachthani is to say forsaking me, or why have I been forsaken, all right? So here's how you know it was a code. Because right there when it was time for Jesus or Isa to go and pray, fall on his face and pray that the cup passed him by and that he did not have to endure the evils of man who wanted to kill him. They wanted to bring back what was done by Kabil to Habil, all right, or Cain to Abel. Kabil is Cain and Habil is Abel, all right? They wanted to bring back that energy of murder, all right, to God's son. Someone who was begotten, meaning somebody opened the door for Jesus to come through. That's what begotten would have meant, meaning they were able to be here by way of another person. All right. They wanted to kill God's son, someone that they thought to be son of man. Even though they were trying to kick it like they didn't think so. They were trying to stone him and all this other stuff. They saw his miracles. They saw what he was able to do. They knew he was one of the elect. They knew he was a part of the elves, all right, or the Elohim. All right. So he prayed to the Father. And they said that if he prayed to the Father, his Father would hear him. Let's deal with that firstly. He prayed to the Father. And he said, only if it's in your what? Will. He used the word. Only if it's in your will, not my will. Stay with me. Okay? So he said, yo, let this cup pass me by. Only if it's in your will, not in my will. Because I don't want to die, is what he was explaining. He said he was sorrowful even unto death. Okay, the burden he was carrying was so what? Heavy on him. It had a lot of weight on him, and he wanted to be relieved of it. Are you with me? But he made a pact or a deal or an agreement. He came to an understanding with his father called Abba in that scripture. And he was saying, if it's in your will, meaning not just because I want this to pass me by. Why am I nailing that point? Because when he was on that cross, he would never have said, why have you forsaken me? Because he already would have understood that if he was to survive this event or not endure this event, okay, it would have been the will of the Father. So if he had to endure it, he would have just endured it. Are you with me? No, it was a science. And that science was saying, which L are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the dark side, or are you going to choose the light side? Are you going to choose the Elah that's associated with Sabak and Baphomet and Sophia, the demiurge world? Are you going to come up here with us, who've been looking at everybody play around with the little stuff, and we say, why aren't they able to project how I'm projecting? I'm not talking about just raise my voice. I'm saying project means, like when you say project, it means to build a certain thing. You have a project, you're working on something. All right, you can bring that project to the world and the world can behold it. Every time I project, you look out into the world and you see what I project happening in the world. All right, but they're dealing with these lower science. We saying, wake up, come up here. All right, you don't have to crawl around with the belly crawlers or the belly dwellers. Come up here where we are, and you'll be able to see that not only do we already understand that science, because they try to misinterpret it. They say, well, because we're dealing with the light, we're afraid of the dark. No, it's because we already mastered the dark. We don't need to use the dark, but can you do the light? Wise man can come down those stairs and deal with the dumbfounded. Okay, but when we found them dumb niggas, could they come up there where we was at? All right, did they know how to ask why enough to become wise? No, they didn't follow the lamb. Are you with me? So that was a key point. So again, Jesus, Asa, was on that cross, right? Matthew chapter 27. And when he was on that cross, he gave up his ghost. And you'll read this in Matthew 27:45. I think it was through 53. Actually, Matthew 27:50 is when he was telling you he gave up his ghost. All right. It starts at Matthew 27:45, where it was explaining a very specific science. And the science was that at about the 6th hour, all right, they didn't just say the 9th hour, because my album was 9th hour. They also mentioned a 6th hour. They said at about the 6th hour, darkness was all over the lands. Okay, darkness, which is Shaitan's world or Shaitan's frequency, all right, or sets frequency. Like when the sun sets, it get dark. You understand? Darkness was all over the world up until the 9th hour. And then at the 9th hour, what happened? He was able to rise up off that cross and he gave up his ghost. All right, right there as G, you see the ghost word. Are you with me? So if we were to look at the clock, I know it'll be kind of difficult to do this without showing you a diagram. But if you look at the clock, all right, you can use, let's just use matter of fact, you see that line right there? You see the line right here? Let's just do it like that. All right, so you see 12 up here. That's that line pointing to 12. All right, and to y'all, I think 3 would be where? Is 3 here? I think 3 is over here for y'all. Okay, because it's reversed a little bit. So 3 might be here for y'all looking at the clock. If not, then just deal with it. I'm looking at the screen. So yeah, I think 3 is over here. All right, I'm going to hope so. All right, so you got 12, wherever the hell 3 is supposed to be at. All right, then you got 6 for sure down there. And then you have the 9. Are you with me? So if we were to go step by step through these 4 corners of the ard or the earth, stay with me. The 4 points or 4 vertices or corners of this pyramid from the eagle eye view, we would go from 12 to 3, which we would give you 15. All right. And from 3 to 6, we'll give you 21. And from 6 to 9, we'll give you 30. You understand? So meaning you adding these things together. You add 12 plus 3, 15. 15 plus 6, 21. All right. 21 plus 9 gives you 30. All right. After you arrive at that 30, you got to ask yourself, where can I find 30 when it comes to this conversation? What they said in the book of Luke, chapter 3, verse 23. Okay. They were saying he was about Jesus. They said Jesus was about 30 years old when he went out to start bringing his ministry to the public. Are you with me? So you look at that number 30. All right. This was around the time that people say that he died. That's why I tell you, find me 33. You don't find 33. Okay. Now you got a conversation about the Passover's coming about. I understand that. But that's why I use the word about. Because if I say about right here, okay, or approximately right here, it's not saying directly on that point. Okay. But you deal with that whole range of that point. And this is what we're telling you to pay attention to. So again, let's go from 12 to 3 to 6 to 9. It gives you, in addition, 30. All right. So this is still a cross, by the way. If you don't know yet, 12, 6 is the line, and 3 and 9 is a line. That's a cross on your clock. We already went over this. All right. So from 12 to 9, you have a 30-year point. All right. If you're adding the numbers. And at that 30th point, all right, he had to, which would have been that 9 point, the 9th hour, literally 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. He had to give up his ghost. He had to escape. He had to get out of the what? The circle, which is another word of saying the cycle. Okay, so this was the whole science of Siddhartha. This was the whole science of Buddha. This was the whole science of anybody who was a master who came before the master called Jesus or Isa. All right, that you had to escape or get free from the trap that is the gravitational pull of the planet Earth, meaning you would have had to ascend and become weightless, meaning less weight. All right, like when we give you with the weighing of the heart ceremony, your heart would have been lighter than a feather. Okay, meaning you can ascend at that point. Not that it just weighs the same amount as the feather. Are you with me? So he was able to escape. How did he escape? He escaped at the 9th hour and gave up his ghost. Are you with me? Now watch this. If we look at the word ard, all right, because I'm telling you, this is the 4 points of the earth. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 4 corners of the earth. All right, same way you have 4 chambers of the heart. That 4 appears a lot of times. You have the 4 holy or the living ones who sat upon the throne. All right, the bull, the ox, the eagle, and the man. Okay, that 4 means something, all right, because it's dealing with, in totality, a circle or a square, all right. The only interesting part is you don't have points on a square, but you have points on a clock. That's why they were showing you how to map it out. Are you with me? So if you were to pay attention to 1, 2, 3, 4 points, all right, and said these are the 4 corners of the earth, or if you look at it as the Masons would talk, we would talk the compass, okay, which means literally all-encompassing. If I say all-encompassing, we talking about this whole shit. That what all-encompassing is this whole shit, all right? So the compass was dealing with north, all right, west to y'all, I think, and east and south, okay? All right, they gave us news when we was in high school. These are the 4 points or the 4 directions of the planet Earth. You called the planet Earth in Arabic, Aradu. All right, Hebrew, it was Eretz. All right, in actuality, it was speaking about a land. It wasn't speaking about the whole plane. That was another confusion because Eretz meant land or country. All right, so the Arabic word for earth was Aradu. And to simplify that word Aradu, you gave it Ard, A-R-D. All right, now watch this. If I say the word Ard as a suffix, all right, like if you tell somebody they're a coward, all right, that means they're always cowering. Ard meant always. All right, you're always cowarding. All right, if you say you're, what do you call it? Give me another, bullard. It's different words with the ard. Okay, but look at the coward one. Coward. All right, you're always cowering. Okay, the word A-R-D as a suffix in Latin was giving you always, or saying something was always happening. But you will also find that ard itself meant to be free. Okay, so when a person was able to ard, it meant they could flee from being trapped from a thing. Okay, meaning they were able to alleviate themselves from the pressures of being a prisoner. Are you with me? And what do we say? You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Or a lot of people think it set you free, because that's what another conversation comes when we say set somebody free. It's still dealing with set, and we don't want to deal with that. And another thing is they actually didn't say set, it said make. Okay, so stay with me. When you're saying auditor, what are you saying? You're saying earth or eradu. And I already explained to you that clock is a diagram of the 4 corners of the 4 points of what you're calling your earth. Are you with me? So for a person to get free out of these 4 points, by the time they hit that 9th point, they would have had to leave from here, or they get brought back into the cycle. That's where you go watch the Lion King movie and open up with the circle of life. All right. And then you have something called moksha, all right, by the Hindus or the Buddhists who said they wanted to escape. They didn't want to be caught in this reincarnation cycle. They wanted to escape out of the hellfire, all right, or the hell existence or the Nesut realm. They wanted to go beyond this plane. All right. And one of the ways they had to do it is they literally had to detach from this place in time. OK, look at the word in time. If they didn't do it in time, because it's all about time. All right, we say Yom Uddin. You say the day of judgment. The day is speaking about a time period. All right, you say Yom Kiyama, day of resurrection. The day is speaking about a time period. You understand? So they had to be able to escape from this place. So my point is, when you're saying the word order, all right, you're saying always. And I broke it down to you that always is 2 words. Okay, all and ways, meaning every direction. All right, remember who was the clown? Molly with the Molly the clown with her doll. I don't remember the hell. This is a PBS kid shit. But she had did the little shit pointing all the ways, all directions, every direction. If you were to take this 2-dimensional circle that you're envisioning, all right, and flip it upon itself to be 3rd dimensional, all right, at least for the depth of field perception, you would have a sphere, which is the all-encompassing reality that you exist within. If I draw your reality on a piece of paper as this dot right here being you, all right, as that center of that kitab or that ketub, the whole reality is operating around you. You understand? Same thing I broke down when I was 16 years old in the 16-year-old Mason teacher's class, Hidden Knowledge. All right, relativity, or some people call it general relativity, whatever. All right, whatever theory of time you want to give it, is saying that this person right here, which is us or you, all right, is the main character. Of anybody's story, you're the main character. The world literally revolves around you as time and space are a continuum. And this reality called the universe, or this observable universe, is what's referred to as mentalism, all right, or mental. The universe is mental. Okay, so the universe is mental, then all this is happening in your mind. All is mind, which means all of this is happening beyond your mind because you have to deal with that polarity. All right, then as I exist in this reality, all of you exist because I exist here. And anybody who just heard me say that, the reason why I exist is because you're here. All right? Same thing with the dream state. As soon as you wake up from a dream or come back from a dream, everybody that you left over there, you ever wonder what happened to them? Do you ever wonder whether or not they wondered what happened to you? It doesn't matter if you think that they're subconscious projections, whatever you think they are, they were able to function as some type of conscious living being. You understand? Meaning they were real. And some people have conversations with you. They lead you, show you places. All right, some of y'all have advanced dreams like I do. I don't have normal dreams. I don't even know what a normal dream is. There's always some crazy shit happening in my dreams. You know what I'm saying? But you'll see that these are real events and real occurrences. So my point is this just here. All right, if you're sitting in the center of your reality and the all is mind, then every single thing you do, every deed that you do is not only affecting the reality, okay? The reality itself is responding to that deed. This is where you get into the cycle of karma, which that's a whole different, we have to come on here and do a whole teaching on karma. Are you with me? Because it's not what people think. They give you 4 main pieces of karma, by the way, but it's not. We got to come on here and get into that another time. All right, but remember that the way to get out of the circle or the cycle was through detachment. Are you with me? That's why you never forget always. Always as in perpetually, but always as in every direction. If you go look up the shape of the universe, they'll give you a sphere. Are you with me? And if you were to draw it down on a piece of paper, second dimensionally, you would draw a circle with a dot in the center, as in literally was referred to as the focal point or the area of concentration. All right, or procentration. All right, because we remember con was always saying something that was negative, and pro was saying something that was positive. And if you're going from a negative to a positive charge, that's how you ascend. Are you with me? If you become positively charged, you're ascending. Okay? So Arda, or the earth, was the prison for people, okay? Or human beings, so to speak. And they had to escape through the art of detachment, or someone had to come through and deliver them. Are you with me? Which is why I named this teaching, You Cannot Die. This is not to say that it is impossible for you to die. This is me reminding you, you did not come this far to die. You understand? Because remember, death had multiple meanings. Death could mean literally somebody is dead, as in rigor mortis and set in, and they're not coming back. Are you with me? They're gone. Death could also mean, like people say with ego deaths, is you used to be something, but now you're not that. All right? But death could also mean, like when we say don't touch that tree, on that day you're going to surely experience what death is, and we don't want you to experience that death. All right? Death could mean you're not able to access the tree of life. You cannot do that and still ascend. At this point in time, we're too far in. If you've been walking, however you found me, all right? If you've been walking, it don't even got to be me that you found, as long as you found it. All right? If you look over there and I ain't over there, but it's still it, I don't have no problem. But if you've been walking through generations, reincarnating, how you know you reincarnating? Because you have a mother and a father. All right? And that's energy transferring or transforming. And you know energy, law of thermodynamics, cannot be created nor destroyed according to what we know in science. So with every piece of information that your parents have, guess what? You're that also. All the experiences that they went through, guess what? You're those experiences too. Now you're going to add on your own science. You're going to add on your own knowledge. You're going to have your own faith. You're going to have your own deeds. And even in that day and time, all right, which we're in, people won't be able to vouch for you. Okay? You would have to have your own vouchers, all right, to make the trip. Are you with me? So in this day and time, if you made it here, then you were supposed to make it here. You cannot go back. Remember what I told you? I had a dream when I was 5 years old. I think I was either 5 or 6 years old. I had a dream, and there were 2 Yeshuas. Actually, it was one Yeshua and one Jesus. All right? Yeshua was using lightning, and he was a melanin-dominant man with an afro. He had on all white. Okay? And Jesus, both of them had on all white. One of them had on a red slash, though, and that was Jesus. All right? I don't think I saw Yeshua with a slash on. Right? But Yeshua was using lightning and fighting the other Jesus, all right? And the other Jesus was a Caucasoid. And this isn't the Spartan race. This was just my dream, all right? But he was using fire. Are you with me? So we had to get off of the planet. This is a dream, not a vision. This is a dream, all right? And we had to go up this white, a bridge. And it kind of arced up as we walked. We had to walk up this bridge. But as we walked up the bridge, everything behind us was disappearing. Okay? Meaning if you drop something, ain't no going back. If somebody fall, Ain't no going back. And I was given the task of making sure that nobody strayed off of the path of my family. So it was my family that was walking up the bridge. All right. At the end of that, we was able to get up out of the planet. My point is this. I told you, go listen to the sermon song, because a lot of things I said in the sermon song came out 2018. All right. Don't think I can't walk on that water just because I swam with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can swim with you, but like I said, after a certain point in time, we can't go back. You with me? I've been saying this every now and again. I'll remind you, hey, look, if I say we on green light, ain't no going back from willpower. I don't want to hear no excuses. Of course, I could have left the door open and said, yeah, all right, we're going to do a 2-day fast. No excuses. All right, you're not doing this for me. There's no reason why you can't fast for 2 days. You understand? If there was even a health reason for a lot of people, I'm not going to go too deep into that. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to approach that because they'll try to strike you. All right, they'll say, well, you're not a doctor, so I'm not going to go over there. All right, so whatever that, you consult your doctor. I understand that. Okay? But when it comes to 2 days, when it comes to 2 days, you can do it. You can do 7 days. We did 9 days last year. Who was there? We did 9 days, no food. Okay? And again, you don't report to me. I'm not your God or nothing. You're the one you report to. If you tell me you did the fast, I don't know whether you're telling me the truth or not. You understand? Who do you have to respond to? You. Okay? So this is what this is about. So what I'm telling people, willpower is that light right there. You're experiencing it. When you come on here and see me with it, it's resonating and settling in or thriving and bouncing around in your sub or super conscious. It's happening. All right? They can try to listen, say what they want to say. I know the science. It's happening. Now you're starting to associate me with the green light, which is why I'm telling you, be prepared, because when that switch happens and we go blue, you're going to have to learn at that moment that there needs to be an adjustment. You won't still be over here. You understand? You will have to go there. And everybody who ain't went there yet, they would have had to quickened up. Go read the book of Ephesians chapter 2. All right? This is the quickening. You have to speed up. And then after you hit the blue, then you go on and on and on and on. But all of this is about literally firepower or electricity power or light power. All right, whichever one of the terms you want to use to say that something has to continue to heat up to speed up, like your reality is doing. Are you with me? So if I say, let's go, they had the red light already. Red glow or the red flames was all over your planet or this planet. All right, with the 930 degrees Fahrenheit. At 930 degrees up to like 1800 degrees, you got red light and red flames or red glow or holla or aura. All right. After the red glow, you go like 1800 degrees all the way up to like 2200 degrees. Okay, y'all can fact check me on that. I think it's 2190 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, that gives you the orange glow. Okay, which is the orange flames. And most people was either there or right there in the red. Okay, and then you go to the yellow. I'm gonna show you a mystery. All right, so make sure you're listening. You go to the yellow, which is like 2200 degrees, all the way up to 2600 degrees or 2500 degrees. All right, that's the yellow glow. It's not just the glow, because you have the glow first, but then you have the flames that come from that glow. So you see that green light, all right, but then you're gonna see the effects of that green light that reach out like the sun's rays. Are you with me? So you have that yellow glow and that yellow light. Make sure you remember these things, because this is the whole science. You go back and check, say, damn, this nigga really, you know what he's talking about. Yeah, it's that whole science where you had to literally speed up. But something interesting happens after you go past yellow when it deals with what's referred to in science as a true flame. Interestingly enough, they say it's not a true flame. All right, green is not a true flame. You with me? Because it doesn't naturally, unless you're burning copper, all right, you don't really see a green flame, all right, or a gas that burns green. That's why Dr. Malachi York was reminding people, when you see them green meteorites, right, you say it's a meteorite, what type of gas burns green? You have to explain that. What flame is going to burn green naturally, unless you're talking about something that occurs with earth elements, all right, where there's a chemical response or a chemical reaction, okay, that yields a green light. But other than that, it goes straight from yellow to what? Who knows? What color do it go through? And I want you to pay attention to that, because I got a song called Q where I mentioned these colors in it. What does it go from yellow to what? All right, I gave you red, 930, all right, all the way up to the orange, and the yellow, which is the 2,600 degrees, all right, or 2,600 or 2,500 degrees. Right from the yellow, somebody said blue. Right from the yellow, it goes white. You understand? From yellow to white. It skips over that whole green thing. You understand? And then you go blue, and then you go purple. All right, so it's really like 6 points because the purple and the indigo are counted as one. All right, so look at it. Red, orange, yellow, we got that. That's accounted for. We can learn the degrees of that. Literally, learn the degrees of what that appears as naturally. And then you go green, and you're like, what is there? It's a mystery. You know what I mean? You have to realize that it's associated with purity, white. It goes white, and then you go blue. Notice that as you increase in these degrees, which shouldn't, it goes without saying, you get hotter. You increase in your frequency. You're ascending. So right there at that crossroad, all right, is the white color or the green color. But if you look at the chakra points, is what I'm explaining to you. All right, you go from red all the way up to the purple, the indigo, and violet. Okay, that's the same thing that has to happen with you. You have to ascend. All right, and in nature, all right, when you're speeding things up, they spread out their molecules. Okay, the only time you'll see something different with that, interestingly enough, is like water. You know, so like when you freeze water, technically the molecules are spreading out. That's where you get your ice. Okay, so unless you got like a big slab of ice, all right, it's actually going to be less dense than the liquid water. But the vapor, which is what it is, the gases that comes from it, is going to be fast to spread out and moving around. You understand? Which you can observe that in your kitchen any day. I want to make sure that science is clear so there's no confusion. All right, but other than that, in nature, when something is solid and goes liquid, it sped up its molecules. You understand? And then when it goes liquid into gas, it sped up its molecules. All right, so human beings, we are both solid and liquid. And also we got gases coming in ourselves too. So you look at the science, it's saying you have to ascend. When I go to a school, show, all right, and I get more degrees, I get hotter. And I go higher up in my temperature, all right? And as long as I don't fall victim to my temperature, and I'm going to tell you what that is in a second, then I'm going to continue to ascend and become a master. I'm going to get my master's, all right, which is referred to as a degree. And when you're dealing with degrees, not only you're dealing with heat or temperature, all right, or something that's hot or cold, all right, you're also dealing with arcs, okay? Like if I draw an arc, it'll have a degree, or an angle will have a degree, okay, in math and when you deal with shapes. Are you with me? So as long as I don't fall victim or fall, like when they said in the story, the same story we spoke about when he told him to keep watch, he said the spirit is willing. He's telling you what the spirit is, that green light, Mashiach. All right, that's the science you got to get to that crossroad. Pick up your cross, is what he told you, your staros. And cross was really a pole, by the way, if you look at staros. It's really a pole. It wasn't really a tau like they give you in the shapes, okay? But even still, you can find the pyramid in the tau or the mystic tau, all right? But you'll find the staros, all right, which is the real Greek word for the cross, as a pole. He said, pick up that spine, all right, or that staff, like El Kadir had to do, or Moshe, or Musha had to do, or Moses had to do, and walk with me. You understand? He said the spirit is willing. All right, that green light. But it's that carnal mind, the reptilian brain, all right, that which bred mortality, okay, the lustful self that says lust was the birth of mortality, all right, and the death of divinity. So you have birth of mortality, death of divinity, okay? Pick up that cross, walk with me. The spirit is willing. The flesh is weak. That body is not able to ascend because the body, which is attached to the next realm, wants what it wants. That's why they give you the movie Lucy, where he said, you can either reproduce or you can become beyond mortality. All right, touch that tree of life. So you can try to play the game like you're God or Ra or Ray, and you say you reproduce, you're going to produce like Ray, or you're going to come up here where we are and go beyond all of that and escape, all right, at that ninth hour. Are you listening to me? So he said what? The spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. So they were not able to get that science because they fell asleep. He came in and said, yo, you couldn't even keep watch. Listen to what he's saying. Keep watch. What is a watch? A watch is a clock. All right. And it was a third hour and 3 hours. They give you hours and time periods. All right. He said the hour is come, or the hour has not come. And no man knows the hour. All right. Even in El Quran, the Quran, they were speaking on the hour. They didn't know what the hour meant in El Isra. All right. Al Isra wa Miraj was saying that there was a night journey and an ascension, by the way, because Miraj was saying an ascension. Okay. But Musa didn't know what the hour was that these people were talking about. Okay. Because no man knows that hour. But the ninth hour was elusive. Remember, it was a mystery. the 9 until a certain point in time. And even still, I'm not saying that we know the time period that you're going to see that sky roll back. I'm not saying that. But we're saying that you're this close. When you see disclosure, it's saying you're this close. You're this close to seeing that revelation because people all over the world are starting to behold the signs. All right. Meanwhile, they're spraying the X's across the sun. All right. X marking that spot right there in the central point or that kitab as that fire in the center. All right. So if you see that X and the sun is in the center right here. All right. That's literally the pyramid from the eagle eye view. X marks the spot. Go look at what pyramid means. It means fire. All right. In the center. So do they know they're doing that? Maybe they don't. But they have to do it because it's one of the signs of the reality that you exist in. Part of the reason why I wanted to address you, this shadow, is I wanted to just remind you of what this is about. Okay? A lot of people are on their own individual paths, and I understand that. People have touched what they touch. People dealing with what they're dealing with. When you cross that threshold, it is only you and God. Not me, not your mama, not your brother and sister, not your cousins, not your girlfriend, not your boyfriend. When you have to face reality, all right, and you haven't faced it yet, then what will you do? When you haven't come to grips with that which you don't know, to understand that there's power in acknowledging that you don't know a thing, yet you walk around boastful and prideful and say there is no God and say that I'm God. All right, do you really know that? Because God should know how to answer certain questions. The source would know how to answer certain questions because it's nothing but measly English. You understand? There's a million words in it, but it's just English. They should know if I ask, when was all of this created? They should know the answer. They should ask, if I ask, when will all of this end? You should know the answer. Niggas can't get when the Golden Gate Bridge gonna fall right. So how you gonna get the whole of creation, you know what I'm saying, correct in one lifetime? No, this is what I'm explaining to you. I wanted to come and remind you that when I did the teachings of the psychic self-defense, when I did the teachings of the different types of demons, when I did the teachings of what and where is hell, when I did the teaching of Rosicrucian, when I did the science of the green light, you got to really think about how many classes I've done with just Young Elder alone. All right. Not to mention the clubhouse days, not to mention all the lives that we've done. All right. You can realize that there's a commonality in it. I'm still reminding you about what you're calling source. Okay, because what you really would have to call it, you can't bear it right now. That's why I said more things we have to tell you, but you can't bear it. Because to even call it means that it has to respond to you. And you don't have those tones. We don't have those tones. You understand? But people are associating it with being some type of source, which charges a reality. Okay, well, I'm reminding you about that. That's why the biggest song that I have is called Source. All right, all I did, listen, I posted a meme. It got so big, people were assuming I paid money for it. You know what I mean? 'Cause they were hearing it everywhere. They said, yo, how much did you pay for the promotion? I didn't pay anything. I woke up one day. I was like, yo, I'm going to make this meme. I'm going to put Supreme Dreams on this shit. All right. And I'm just going to put my music on it. And I'm going to post it. I posted it. Next thing I know, the shit went up. You understand? 400-some thousand streams, 300-some thousand views. And it was just the audio. And people are saying, yo, we don't know what this man is saying. But we know that whatever it is, it resonates with us. Okay? People didn't even know it was Arabic. So think about it. Now we got the letter to 21 Savage. A lot of people didn't know that 21 Savage was associated with the Right Knowledge movement. But because of phase 1, now they know. It doesn't mean that because you go and look at that video and you see 15,000 views, I think it is now, maybe 16,000, which I appreciate everybody who viewed it and been supporting. All right, because the views been going up. You look at that, you think that represents how many people know about it. No. Oftentimes what happens is you'll look at a number and it's actually more people going out into the world talking about it. Then it becomes a conversation where you don't even have to know who brought the message. The message is out there. You understand? That's why I said 19 Keys exposed. That's why I said 21 exposed. That's why I said Beyonce exposed. It doesn't mean that I'm giving it to everybody. It means here it go. It's exposed. Dinner is ready. I mean, I shouldn't say that Corona fast. You know what I mean? Water is ready and everybody come get it. It's been exposed. So if you come and get it, that's on you. But I put it out there where, okay, now what are you going to do with that information? You got to ask yourself, how did 21 end up over there? If he was right here where I'm at, how he ended up all the way over there? What happened? And this is the work of none other than Akai. So I wanted to remind you, all right, that's why they give you the science or that statement of the devil's biggest trick is making people think that they didn't exist. You understand? And I challenged that and advanced that statement by saying his real biggest trick or deception was making people think that God didn't exist. Because you see the devil everywhere. You see the devil in the schools. You see the devil in the music industry. You see the devil in your household. You see the devil down the street at the corner store waiting on somebody. You see the devil doing a drive-by. You see the devil committing the murders out here. You see the devil, you see the devil everywhere. The devil is no shortage of shaitan in the Nesut realm of the material plane. He's everywhere. You walk outside, all right, and you're risking it. Matter of fact, you only got to walk outside. The plane could be crashed on your bed. The devil is everywhere. Anything that would have gone against the natural order, things that are happening out of order, is everywhere. Murder was actually not a part of the order, meaning human beings were not ordered to murder. Okay, it was Halal who put it in Cain's ear of not just to murder, he taught him how to murder. You understand? That was a deeper story where he said, look, here go how you do it. And he took the stones and he put some grapes down. This is found in the Holy Tablets. All right. He put some grapes down on the ground and smashed the grapes with the stones. He said, this is what you do to Abel. All right. Or Habil. This is what you do to him. All right. And Cain learned from Halal or Shaitan, Satan, how to commit the murder. He also took on the form of a dove. All right. And went and fought a raven. And until the raven died, the dove didn't stop fighting. And then he killed the raven. He said, this is what you do to Abel. So he showed them two examples, one abiotic, one biotic, examples of how to commit murder. You understand? My point is this. It's everywhere. All of the grave sins, they say 7 deadlies. You walk outside, you tripping over 3 of them. You know what I mean? They're everywhere. There is no shortage. But you want to know there's a shortage of? There's a shortage of pristine purity when it comes to Islam and Christianity or Judaism or Buddhism or anything when it comes to a religion or a way of life that was supposed to tie you to a contract of some sort or a protract to show you the degrees of some sort that allow for your reality to stay in order. What happened? People started to find out religion meant bind. They said, oh, it means to bind something. Not realizing that a covenant was needed to maintain order. Look at the world. If we did not need religion, okay, look at a world that has religion and won't use it. They don't use it. I'm not talking about the beast going around conquering all these countries. All right. I'm not talking about the people who scream a name of the source while they're about to commit suicide and kill others. All right. I'm not talking about any of the devilishment that took place on account of the source. All right. Or God or the universe or divine. All right. Where there was a perversion of the essence of it. I'm not speaking about that. I'm speaking when we gave you an order. That's what we gave you. All right. You can subdue the earth. Yeah. Make sure you take care of this. Make sure you take care of that. Yeah. Be fruitful and multiply. Yeah. Mankind has gone against every order we gave. You understand? So now we're in this day and time. We say, okay, you're looking at a judgment that's taking place because of that. Now, you don't have time to point fingers at the white man because you're living in this planet. You don't have time to point fingers at the black man because you're living in this planet. Only thing you have time to do is assume the position as guys of the earth. You have to actually assume. You can't just call yourself NOGE, the nation of the guys and earths. All right, I don't say one earth, unless you're talking about the super earths. All right, but you can't just call yourselves that. You have to literally assume the position and absorb the science, not just observe, absorb, all right, all encompassing the science of the circle 7, all right, or the 7 when it's circled, and realize why the 7 is circled. Let me tell you why the 7 is circled. Because the 7 is the letter G. You understand? Let nobody tell you anything else. And if that 7 is circled, they still tell you about a clock. Now you can't unsee it. Go look at the circle 7 Quran and you're going to see a clock. And now you know that the 7 is a key, all right, or a G, as the 7th letter of the English alphabet is none other than G. Are you with me? So they were reminding you of that. But mankind stepped out of order. So what was his biggest trick? They made people think that God didn't exist. They spiritualized God, but they didn't spiritualize the devil. You with me? They allowed all these other people who had these homes of merchandise or houses of merchandise to thrive. These pastors and imams who misled masses of people. Okay, these popes and all the rest of the people who put up here on these pedestals as if they were gods. Got people bowing down, kissing their ring and all this other bullshit. You understand? You got this person over here can barely walk, the queen. You know what I'm saying? She taking foot by foot, inch by inch to get to a damn escalade. You know what I mean? Niggas still worshiping her. Yo, why? Yo, she's royal blood. There's no such thing as royal blood. What are you talking about, royal blood? No, the blood is just blood. You know what I mean? Look, I got blood, you got blood. You might got different types, but there's never been a such thing as royal blood. That's bullshit from the beginning. Okay, the only way you can try, they tried it with the Kohen gene. Listen, I've been around. I've seen this shit as in studied and paid attention to all of the different ways that they literally tried to say this particular bloodline was above others. All right, what it calls for was you got people now who are calling themselves Hebrew Israelites. All right, and because they're melanin dominant people, and they say that melanin dominant people would have been those people of those times in the stories. All right, then it must mean that they come from a man named Israel or a man named Jacob or Yaqub. All right. Then I asked him all these other questions about how was Jacob the only nigga having children? Of all the people that would have been accounted for in that time period, how was Jacob the only nigga with children? All right. Where's Dinah's seed? What happened to the rest of her story? Why is it gone? Because it was 13. They want to keep it with the 12 because it's all men. But you talk about Dinah, they like, oh yeah, she endured something. She was assaulted. You know what I mean? But they don't want to go into where's the rest of her story. All right, where's the rest of the story on both? So where's Ishmael's other 13th daughter? What's going on with these people? They left out the mother. They left out the women. So to this day, all these men are running around saying, we're Israelites. I say, prove it. They say the prophecies, brother. I said, well, the prophecy could have been, it could have been pertaining to anybody. Literally, anybody in that time period that would have fit that prophecy would have been them. That doesn't mean that those are my ancestors. You understand? So, okay, just because there was this story that says there was a flood, they got other stories on different parts of the world. Am I supposed to discount their stories just because you coming with one? I don't think that's wise. How about this? We don't know. And because we don't know, you cannot say you're an Israelite. Truthfully. Or I'm going to ask you to prove it. And if your way of proving it is showing me a book with words in it that anybody could have written at any given time for any given purpose, all right, that they still allowed to be out here. Ain't like they going around houses seizing the books. All right, because they know people ain't going to understand it. There's no reason for them to do that. If all you have is a book, then family, there's no way you can know whether or not you're an Israelite. There's no way. You can claim it. I respect it. I respect your belief. I respect your Hawashai, the tones, all of that. I understand. The keeping the law, statutes, commandments. Listen, I understand. All the camp sciences. Listen, we going through it. 360 question has Hebrew Israelite. Yahweh, Ben Carter, listen, I get it. Okay, I understand. The prophecies of 2000, everybody gonna get on the ship and leave. Nobody ain't leave. I get it. I understand. They didn't hold them accountable for being a false prophet or none of that. They just let it go on. So I get it. At this day and time, to call yourself an Israelite without knowing yourself that you are one, all right, puts you right in the category of who you think they're talking about when they say they know the blasphemy. You understand? But do you think people pay attention to that? No. So the point is this. With all of these orders that were given, when you say the word order, it's a command. With all of these commands that were given, all of these covenants and these deals and these agreements say, look, if you do this, I'm going to do this. All right, we do that today. We use a binding every day. You say, yo, I'm going to give you $5. All right, I want you to make me a sandwich. You know what I mean? Or yo, I'm going to give you $70. I want you to, you know what I'm saying, go do a store run for me. Yo, I'm going to give you $200. I want you to do my hair. All right, that's a contract or a protract. All right, you're literally making a deal or an agreement with someone. So, okay, so look, if you take care of this planet, you take care of your children, you raise them up to be more than just dust, all right, or muck of the earth or scum of the earth, all right, when we make a return, this is what we will provide for you because you will prove that you're worthy of that. All right, now be careful because here go a nigga over there, you see that scaly ass nigga? He don't think you worthy. We actually made a deal. We ain't tell you nothing about it, but I'm going to let you in on something. I made a deal with this nigga. He don't think y'all niggas can make it. You know what I'm saying? I think you can make it. Let's see what you do. I can't do it for you. It's against intergalactic law for me to do it for you. All right? It's against planetary law for me to do it for you. I cannot intervene. All right? These people don't think that you're supposed to be able to wake up and rise up. These people do. Okay? So then here go the question. You want to know what the question is? The question is to be or not to be. He said, what are you talking about? The question is Hamlet, William Shakespeare. All right? To be or not to be. That is the question. All right? You remember the part where he was saying, yo, there is no such thing as good and bad. All right? But when you think something, it is that. When your thinking makes it so. Okay? When you say to be or not to be, all right, that is the question. That said what? Toby, which is Tob, to be. Listen, Toby. Go look it up. Get with me. Toby, agreeable. Or not Toby, disagreeable. So when he said to be or not to be, that is lama. That is the why, the question. All right. What he's at or stating is to agree or to disagree. Are you with me? Because I can give you an order. You can agree or disagree with it, even as a soldier. All right. So long as you have the ability to. That's why we say disagree able. The word is right there. You're able to disagree or you're able to agree. All right. You have 360 degrees of yourself. is that cherub, as they call it, a cherubim. All right, the cherubim side of you, meaning the disagreeable angels side of you, or angel cherub side of you. Then you have the seraph side of you, or the seraphim side of you. All right, you have the voluntary side of you, because seraph would have been associated with the voluntary side. Every time you make a conscious decision to do better and ascend over just the carnal desire, you're shaking hands. All right, which is the Anunnaki salutation, by the way, to grab a hand. All right, you're shaking hands with the seraphim. All right. Every time you decide, even though you know better, that you're going to do a deed that is in association with disagreeableness. That you know in disorder, you're shaking hands with the evil ones or of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So he said to be or not to be. He's saying Toby or not Toby. He's saying Autobots or Decepticons. All right, if you got my books, you already know. For the people that's on here, if you don't have my books, you see that said play for change right there at the bottom. Send a donation in your email, and it's 10 books all together. It'll be 11 by like March 14th, I think it's the date. All right, for the X marks the spot. And there's a reason for that. You should know it just by the date. Okay, play for change. Send any donation, any amount, and send your email with it, and I'm gonna send you my 10 books. All right, and I go through a lot of this stuff in the books. Okay, so either way, you get it multiple ways, but one way you can have the 10 books going over these different concepts like masonry and all this other stuff. You get it and you can have it for the PDF, and you can go over it in your own time. All right, a lot of people have. A lot of people study. I see y'all studying. All right, and your lingo, everything, I see it showing up. All right, so here goes the key thing. After these orders were given, if mankind follows the orders, he ascends. This doesn't have to be spiritualized. Look at it like this. You can eat pastries every day, all day. You can eat snacks every day, all day. Candy every day, all day. There will be a deteriorating effect on your body. All right? Not only that, you'll gain excess weight. And even if you don't gain excess weight, you're going to gain diseases or problems coming from what you're consuming. It's just reality. All right? You can also decide to eat vegetables. It's not saying that because you eat pastries, you're a demon. It's saying that you're making a decision, aren't you? All right? When you decide, I'm going to do semen retention, like somebody just asked it allowed for this stream to come through. All right? You're going to ask about semen retention. Well, semen retention requires willpower. All right? You could easily be like, fuck that. Remember I told you we did October 1st to January 1st. Who was walking with us? From October 1st, January 1st, if you completed that task of 90 days, all right, there was no ejaculation. If you took the steps with me. You understand? If you did that, that took willpower. You know what I mean? People ask me, what do you do if you're in a relationship? You choose. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? I don't think it's any secret by now that people should understand. I'm in a relationship. You still choose. And if here goes another thing about the green light. If right hand to the Most High. If I was lying, that this wouldn't work with green light. You know what I'm saying? Which is why she's able to vouch for the fact that, this was literally a path that I took. Same way with fasting. If I say with fasting, I had to fast with you, or I wouldn't be able to bring you green light. I wouldn't be bringing you truth or the true light. I'd be bringing you deception. I'm coming in tomorrow. All right, y'all. how y'all fast go? That's bullshit. You know what I mean? You can't do it that way. So holding each other accountable, doing the math, figuring it out, all right, is why I said let's do the fast together. Mass fast. Point being, it requires willpower. All right, willpower. And there's also power in numbers. Okay? So that's why I told you in my book, Rehab, we're going to be activating a grand flower, the grandest flower. Okay? Because the Sahasrara is already the crown chakra, the flower you're going to activate anyway. But when you come together and you merge lights, like they showed you in the Eternals movie, as the uni-mind, okay, then everything that you were thinking by yourself becomes amplified. It becomes enhanced. You understand? So for people who, as long as you're walking around, you know what I mean, with your state of bliss because of this, and it's not something that you're doing feeling like is ignominious or shameful for you, that's a whole different conversation. But when you're walking this particular route and you're saying, I want to continue to ascend and I'm proud to ascend, all right, then you're going to feed that light to other people. Now you don't even just have to have that. It just becomes a part of yourself. Are you with me? So my point is, religion wasn't the bad thing. It was mankind's choice that disrupted the order. It was mankind's or humanity's choosing that caused for this state to be like this. And I'd be remiss, meaning I would miss the light, Ray. All right, if I don't remind y'all, time is running out. All right, listen, watch this. Time is running out on me. I walked outside today and I heard it. They say, listen, when I tell people it ain't gonna be as long as you think. You feel me? You have to grasp this right now. This ain't about us. It's not about those of you who are on this live or even those of you who watch the screen recording. Okay? It's too big for it to just be about us. It's about thousands of years after this. This is that point in time. This is that pivotal mark. All right? Or the pivotal hour or the turning point where what we do, our descendants or our lineage, our offspring are either going to be proud of us for it or they're going to have questions, how some of y'all have questions, and say, why didn't they fight this? Or why didn't they do it this way? Or why didn't they just rise up against that? Or why didn't they just decide that? All right? So look, the elite are doing what I'm telling y'all. They're doing it in their own right and in their own way. They're already thinking about hundreds of years, thousands of years after now. Let me tell you something. If you start thinking how the elite think, if you start speaking how the elite speak, and stop worshiping these idols, because idol mean you ain't going no damn where. If you idol, you just revving up. You ain't moving. You stop worshiping these idols and cast them down, how we did Halal, or how we did that old Drago, or Draco, or Dragon. All right? If you start moving and thinking how they think, not only will you secure your future, guess what? The now will be affected. Because the moment you make a decision, let me tell you the decision that people had to make this year. Stay with me. You cannot give a fuck who they put in that office this year. You can't. If you find yourself by the 9th month, which is now called the 11th month, of Novum, which means 9, November, if you find yourself at November giving a fuck about whether or not it's Kennedy or Trump, you missed the Trump. The Trump has already been blown. You have to elect yourselves this year. Chosen ones, as you call yourselves, or conductors or conduits, all right, as we're going over, all right? You have to elect yourself. And then after that, remember my song, God for President, off the Blood of the Lamb album that came out last year, the beginning of last year, God for President. And in that song, what did I say? I think my people love the devil. You know what I mean? I think, but from looking at this world, and at the end of the song, what did I say? Are you in it for your body or your soul? Some people going to say I'm crazy. Some people going to say pseudoscience. You got to know we way beyond them little bitty ass words by now. But if not, then okay, I guess you don't get what I'm doing or how I'm being able to visualize and get to this point and go further, because we will continue to go further. All right, and reach out. More stars and more elements will be moved around. More viral moments will occur. This is a part of it. All right. So they're going to call it whatever they want to call it. But those of y'all who hear me, you know I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm not saying I invented the information about correcting your status. I'm not saying I invented the information about changing your mind or repenting. Because remember I said you had to repent. You had to change your mind. That's literally what it meant. To repent meant to change your mind. And to change your mind was meaning you had to take yourself into rehab and endure rehab. The crazy part about rehab is a lot of people think you just go in there and they just treat you and you come out. No, those people go through hell. It's hellfire. Because there's a part of themselves, who read the rehab book, where I said the lower parts of yourself are going to feel like they will literally be screaming from the depths of your consciousness. You're going to hear Jan. You're going to hear whisperers. Okay? Because it's like literally parts of yourself that's saying, I benefit. Scientifically, they're called parasites. You understand? Parasites do not like when it's time for them to be evicted. They don't like that. You understand? They're going to fight. They're going to try to usurp your very willpower. But that's why I reminded you, you always have a choice in your decision making. Now, you may not control the elementals or the environment all the time, or how people were born and who raised them and all that. If somebody walk up to you right now and say, nigga, fuck you. You know what I mean? You can't control that they did that. However, you can control not going into nigga mode, all right, or beating their ass just because they said that. You can let that shit bounce right off you. But because of the ego, because of the pride, a lot of people found themselves at an early demise. You understand? Because they couldn't let shit go. All right, I come from a family of a lot of boys. Letting shit go is not easy, especially when y'all niggas roll like this. You know what I'm talking about? It's some shit that we had to let go. Well, I'm punching the air, the carpet. I'm punching everything. It's not easy, especially when you done got to a certain level. A lot of people see me now. You see me now. Some people might be on here. Don't say nothing. But you see me now. Yeah, I ain't never been no off the wall. Well, you listen, you see me now. That's all I'm saying. if only you could see. Yeah, you see me now, but there was a point in time where the nigga was like, who, when? And I just want to know anything I could. Who, when, what, where, how. Anything you can give me, any information that'll make you think that this is what that is. Because they judge you. They say, oh, he's articulate. All right, he can articulate. He has a vernacular. He walks and he speaks proper English. And yeah, he's trying to get everybody to work together. But push that button, and you be like, where the fuck this shit come from? Listen, people find out the hard way. They don't even know how to turn restaurants over. You know what I mean? All kind of shit. Listen, hypothetically. All right? Because it's a button. We be all good, too. We drinking our water. Be like, yo, it's always the quiet one. Leave us the fuck alone. Because as soon as you get that shit, you don't know where it's coming from. And it's only been one voice that could ever calm me down. And sometimes that voice can't calm me down. And that's my mama. My mama been standing on the balcony. I got a whole bike in my hand. Like, she screamed my name, Omari. Only reason why I put that shit down. You know what I mean? I blank out willingly. That's another thing. I think I got to get diagnosed. I willingly blank out. You know, some people you black out and they don't remember shit. I tell them we got blacked out. I remember everything. I just blacked out. I saw black. I just saw red. It didn't block my vision or nothing. I just saw it. It was over there as a stop sign. But I still did what the fuck I wanted to do. My point. You know what I mean? Some people done elevated beyond that point. You know what I mean? And you don't go back. All right, so wrap it all around. Once you reach this level of elevation, don't go back. You know what I mean? Don't fall back into that world. Keep going. Now, the pain of it, that's why I was explaining about rehab, is then it becomes, well, what do you do for pleasure? All right? Remember when it came to flying or crossing states and countries, it says, is it business or pleasure? Be about your father's business. It becomes less about pleasure. And then you get pleasure for being about your father's business or your mother's business, your mother and your father. Honor them both. You know what I'm saying? You watch the Book of Clarence, they put that in there. Honor your mother and your father and your mother. I fucked the shit up. He said, honor your father and your mother. They made sure that's Exodus 20:12, by the way. But yeah, you listen, you got the honor of them. Then listen, you got somebody that's leading you into the proper way, into the proper rights. Well, then walk in that order. All right, and then after that, you become, you about their business. When they lost Jesus, didn't know where the hell the young nigga was at. They like, where the hell is this nigga at? They went and found him. I don't know how you lose a whole, well, you can do it. They lost this nigga. They found him, he was teaching elders. They said, yo, we been looking all over for you. He's like, yo, man, get on with y'all, bro. Hold on. Y'all hold on, bro. What you doing? You fucking shit up for me. Like, bro, you don't know I'm about my father's business. Well, you know you'll find me where I'm doing my father's business at. You know what I mean? They don't know that Jesus was a player ass nigga. He wasn't about none of that shit. Folk telling, hey, Jesus, come do the little shit you do. Turn the water to wine. He damn near went off on that lady. His mama. He damn near went off. Bro, what the fuck? Why are you telling me to do this shit now? We don't even go on for another 8 years. Why are you telling me to do this now? You know what I'm saying? But my point is, he had to be about his father's business. You get a mission about yourself. Have a definiteness of purpose, and you're going to find pleasure in that. Is it easy? It may be easier for some than others, but it's all about a decision. So I came on here to say, yo, you cannot die. You could not have gotten this far to die. All right? Let me give you another secret. When I say F Black History, because that's one of my songs, F Black History. Okay? Now you should understand, I ain't just talking about the little shit they put in front of you. Because Black was saying the darkness, all right, or Set or Baphomet's world. All right, and his story is speaking about all of the lies or the fables or tales, okay, that the dragon or Shaitan brought you. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to get right. I want to say back. Get forward into order. Get forward into the divine. All right, lean into it. Because ain't no really going back when people ain't even been there. All right, get forward into the divine. So I say F Black History. And what you'll find throughout that whole song, when I'm breaking down these sciences, is saying, come out of the darkness. Same thing. I have a book called Out of the Darkness. All right. I am not a slave. You're made free. All right. I have a song that's coming on the Wedding of the Lamb album. It's called Clouded. And in that song, I say, I'm made free by the truth that I know. The truth will make you free. Come up out of Black history. Next year, I shouldn't see nobody talking about some happy Black history. And you saw less people talking. February ran past. Nobody give a fuck about that shit. You know what I mean? I've been saying fuck that. Fuck Black history. And a lot of people think I'm saying it just for the first time. I've been saying this shit. I had a song in 2019 said F they month. Or fuck they month. Right? So I say F Black history. Come out of that. Come into the now. The light of now. F Black history. Come into the white now. Right now. Stand here in the holy place. You see the abomination, okay, spoken of by Daniel the prophet. You see it already. So stand in that holy place. And when we say stand in that holy place, what color? White. What raiment? White. What garb? White. Which means your what? Frequency is continuing to ascend. You're increasing in frequency. Come out of the shade room, all of my people. Come out of her. You know what I mean? Listen, stop going. Listen, the shade room, unless it's a window seat, because that's magic. I get Caesar shit. There's no reason. Come out of there. Come out of there. It was set up as a trap. That's what it represents. That's what it was always going to represent. They know people like mess, and they know people when the heat comes like to be in the what? In the shade. We're in the information age, we're in the fire age, we're in the light age, where you have to ascend and become more increased in your frequency, and people are running over there to the shade, and that's where they spend their life. They spent years. Listen, blink if you need help. It's been years since the shade room been popping. People live there. They don't know what to do unless the shade room posts something, which is why all of these politicians make sure they go to the shade room. You know what I mean? If they want to run something out and drop it on you, they go to the shade room. Not only does the shade room post, they put a narrative on it. So that all the millions of people who see it, when they see that post, they telling people how to think about it, and they go out into their own corners and start making their own content about what they told them people to think already. Which is why they were able to attack Ye so damn fast. The nigga had just put on a White Lives Matter shirt. As soon as he turned around, he was all over the news. He had just put the shit on. But the shade room picked it up and ran with it. You understand? Come out of the shade room. You want to know what's going on in the shade room? I broke down in the Letter to Sexy Red. No, it wasn't Letter to Sexy Red. It was Sexy Red and Drake Exposed on the Brother Young Elders page. Right? I broke that down and said, Ombre. Listen, you say Aubrey. Aubrey is Drake's name. And Aubrey was Albrick. All right, Alb, Rick. And Alb was saying an elf. And Rick or Eric meant a ruler. All right, so the elf ruler. I broke all that down if you didn't catch it. I even told you he was the father of all the elves. The main elf. All right, and elf meant fallen angel. You would have called Drake Jan. All right, because you had the word jinn, which is saying like the little bitty demons. At least that's how I look at them. Like little bitty demons that you run through in the games. The little minions to be the little turtles and shit. Those are the jinn. Then you have like the big nigga. I don't remember the fuck nigga. I should know the nigga name. The Kong, the donkey nigga, whoever the fuck. Who the nigga, big nigga. I can't think of the nigga name. Somebody gotta help me. I played the game. I remember he threw the little. I think it's the same game. Nigga threw like the beer case and shit, whatever. But that nigga, the beat the chest ass nigga, Donkey Kong, I think, whatever. That's Jan. You know what I mean? So. Draco or Dragon or the Big Father or whoever the fuck, what you call it? Browser, him. The shit you look up when the browser niggas, all them Google body ass, them niggas. That's Jan. Those are the father, Donkey Kong, whoever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Any of them niggas. Listen, King Kong, anybody who did this, that's what I'm talking about. Anybody who was a monkey, all right, who was up there on them damn towers throwing shit for whatever, that's Jan, all right? So Drake was one of them Albrick rulers. So you say the word Aubrey, I gave you the word Ombre, all right, which phonetically is similar. Ombre. Ombre meant shadow. You understand? Or shade. So you say ombre, all right, age. All right, ombrage was a French word, ombrage. Shadow age, ombrage. Okay? And then you say what? Hombre or hombre. All right, you say age, but you say hombre. In Spanish, would have gave you man. All right? So there was a person that people used to see, and people still see it to this day, when they went through sleep paralysis, and it was called the Shadow Man, all right, or the Hat Man, they called it, which was a group associated with one of the shadow people groups, all right, 'cause a lot of people talk about seeing shadow entities. So there was a being called the Hat Man, all right, or the Shadow Man. That was the ombre, or the shaded being, who was Jan, or the Jinn, or the fallen one, who governs over this reality. Another thing they may have been seeing too, because there was other different depictions, is Israel. The real Israel, or Azrael. And Azrael is the angel of death, who all of you human beings, or us, all of us human beings will have to encounter one day. Whether you think that they're there or not. Listen, if you take a deep breath, okay, in the shadow, if you ain't scared, only for those who ain't scared. If you just take a deep breath, all right, stay with me because we're going to go back to the shade room part, but I want to show you the science. If you take a deep breath in the shadow, okay, and if you ain't like that, how you green light, you know what I'm saying? and put yourself in the center. Say, I am centered. I am centered. I am centered. I am centered. As a mantra or an affirmation. Okay? Put yourself in that center. And think of whatever you think freeze is. So think 32 degrees. Think of the number 32 degrees and how water freezes at that point. You understand? And then think 212 degrees and how water boils at that point. So think freeze, okay, and then think boil. After you say, I am centered, I am centered. Do that about 30 times straight. You can vocalize it, it'll be more powerful, okay? And then take that deep breath and think of the freezing point. And then take that deep breath and then think of the boiling point. When you think of the freezing point, I want you to think of the word sting, okay? And when that word sting appears, what your goal is to make the word sting appear in white letters in your inner vision. Anybody know about the inner vision? Where you can close your eyes and literally see things and it'll start showing you the images in your eyesight as if you're looking at it. So in your inner vision, you want to see the word sting, okay? And then you want to question, once it appears as white, you want to question it. This is a science that gave you even biblically. You want to ask the sting, you want to say, ask that whole freeze scenario. Where is your sting and associated with death? Say, where is your sting? Death, where is your sting? All right? And then move to the other polarity. And then you're thinking of boiling now. You're thinking of the 212 degrees. Okay? You're going to think of burn. You're going to see the word burn. You already got sting, the sting of the cold. All right? Or the sting of death. Now you're going to think of the burn of the ruh, or the spirit of the soul, or that fire, okay, that human beings were put in this reality, associated with all these Jan who run on that reality. Although man was the clay and water may separate the clay, but you can put the clay back together. And the Jan was the fire. When you put water on the Jan, they put out. You know what I'm saying? So you think burn. When you think of the burn, okay, you want to think life in its totality. Life. So you've already seen the polarity now, okay? You got the death, the freeze, the 32 degrees. Then you got life, the burn, the 212 degrees. You're still right here in the center, okay? So you want to put that right here. When you finish with the sting, put it on your left. And when you finish with the burn, put it on your right. But you're still right here in the center, as Shiva was, okay? Because Shiva meant that which is not. What's my point here? If you want to familiarize yourself without having to fear the concept of death, you need to understand the all-encompassing reality of your existing here. From death to life, which is right there where you exist. Because you're not at life in its totality, because that's death. And you have not yet died because you're living. So right now you're experiencing the dash between your birthday and what they call your transition date or your death date. Okay? You're in the center already, right there in the now. Okay? Let me tell you something. You got to be ready for this. Maybe you won't be. You may experience a chill. Don't fret. That's just Azrael. You know what I'm saying? That's just him acknowledging that you're acknowledging him. Some people may listen, I give you things you either ready for or you're not. If you're not, it won't even happen. You're going to forget to do it. Okay? But he's been there. Death walks with all of us. It's not an evil thing. It's not a good thing. He just is. He has the dominion over this whole plane. You know what I mean? The wings that spread out all across the galaxy. There was an Anunnaki who asked to see it. And when he saw it, he fell to it. It literally caused his brain to shut down. And he went into a coma. I think it was Michael. It was Michael or Gabriel. I got to go back and ask the elders about it. But it's actually in the Holy Tablets, right? I got to go see which one it was. I think it was Michael that was like, yo, let me see you. All right? And as soon as he beheld Israel, he fell. That boy went limp because he beheld something that transcends what this reality is. Even for the Anunnaki, or you call angels. Are you with me? So death is right there. And death works for God. He's not an evil being. Okay? You only giving it these words, and I'm giving you the being and all this other stuff so that you can understand it. Okay? It's an occurrence that is actually a gift if you look at it, because it gives you an opportunity to return back. If you taking the proper steps, all right, to return back to Elion El, or Allah, or source, or the divine. Which is why we've given you what's referred to as the Sirata Mustaqim, okay, which is the way of the straight path. All right, we've given you that straight path and showed you how to walk that straight road, or that straight and narrow, okay, being straight and narrow. We've given you all the ways you can walk it so that you can get back home. We gave you the straight path. All right, we told you straight as in Strait, which means water. We said, where the water? People still don't get it. You got to go back home. You came through water, didn't you? Did you, when we were born, did our parents dig us up out the ground? No. We came here through the waters. The water had to break in order for us to enter into this reality. So how do you think you elevate and get beyond this reality? You got to go back through that way of the water. Okay? Not just that land concept or your father. You got to remember that mother. All right? I was just talking to my Umi about this the other day. I said, look at how they taught maritime law to be the law of the water. Marry. Okay? Because you got Mary right there as marrying. Okay? Or Miriam, which is the mother of God. They literally do. They got a prayer called Hail Mary, where they literally say she's the mother of God, or Ashira. All right, which I've broken down to you to mean the sun, by the way. Ashira means the sun. Okay, never forget that, because that Ashira pole was that gnomon that they used as a sundial to tell time. Your ancestors, some of your ancestors. You with me? So you have to return through that order. Okay, the order of the matter or the water has been out here. Okay, they call sacred orders. Ancient mystic order Melchizedek, daughters of Isis, Eastern Stars, Masons, Rosicrucians, a million orders out here. Christianity, Islam, those are orders too. So everybody had one. Even if you said, no, I'm just a scientist. Well, guess what? Then you knew. He said, you won't be able to say you didn't know. I didn't mean that. No, you can't take it back. If you say you're a scientist, the word science means you knew. He said, I didn't know. Too late. You said you knew. You understand? Even when we said there would be ones who were referred to as mu'minun wa mu'minati, okay? The believers, all right? Belief meant you knew. It wasn't saying you just believe and accept something to be true, okay? That's why when you took Shahada, you actually said you bore witness. You weren't just saying you believe that this is like this. You believe that Allah is wahid, all right, or one alone with no partners. No, you gave Shahada or took Shahada and said, I bear witness. You started off by saying, I bear witness. Okay, that's why I gave you the sign to say, isn't it interesting that the word shuhada means martyr? And if you go look at the etymology of martyr, you'll find it's associated with the word witness. You understand what I'm saying to you? And when people giving a life and saying they take shahada, they're giving it like they're surrendering over to Allah and saying that is the divine force and the divine force alone. They had the order. Then people say that's just a Muslim thing. But I can point out to you in Christianity where it says you shall have no other alihat or gods before Allah, God. There will be no lowercase g's that can be before us capital G. Is what he was literally saying, or the capital G. All right. So he said, thou shalt have no other gods before me. All right. There's Allah is alone and has no partners. Okay. This is the source. That's called Teu or Dau or Tao or Ta. Or the whole, it's like phonetically, they gave you everything you could have to say, we're talking about the straight and narrow, the middle path. Go look at what Tao or Dao meant. It was talking about the middle path, or was called to as Pataruk, or the way. All right, they literally said, here go the way. They said, what is this? Bro, we just told you. Here go the way. You don't want to get out of here? Give me this shit, man. Give me this. Come on, I'm giving you the way. This is how you get up out of here. 1, 2, 3. Simple. Can you count? Here you go. 1, 2, 3. All right, there you go. First, second, third. All right. 1, 3, 5. Root, third interval, fifth interval. 3-part harmony. AUM. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Father, Mother, Child. Like, bro, what else do y'all niggas need? He's like, I don't get it. I mean, we gave you 1 + 1. You look at 1 + 1, you can see a bridge in the middle. Just walk over the shit. It ain't nothing to it. Niggas still didn't get it. I mean, so here we are. We just ask, like, well, how much time did you think you had? Because look at what the evil one has done to your world. All right, while you were relaxing, okay, or lapsing on Ray and not using your light to activate, look at what they've done to this place. So we're questioning you, asking, what will you do about it? You know what I mean? Notice, I'm not on here always just saying, oh, the government this, the government that, the government this, the government that, the government this. You know, they're doing that. Y'all, you don't see me. I'm always reminding you about what you can do. I'm always reminding you about what you could do with the music industry. I'm always reminding you about what you can do to Hollywood. All right? I'm always about this. It's in ninth hour. I talk about Diddy artists. Look around. Ain't Diddy damn near under the trial? You feel what I'm saying? Listen, all this, I'm telling you, it appears how we say it. You could do that. You feel me? You don't have to wait for any of these people. But they don't want to people, the elite, the so-called elite, don't want people to activate that, especially not together. That's why we said hold fast to the rope. Is the rope. They didn't say hold fast to all them ropes that we getting up. Hold fast to the rope. The rope do like this. It's like that. You see the little line in it? It's like that. Hold up fast to the rope of Allah, the source, the divine, the vine that connects you to divinity. All right? Hold fast, all y'all, all together. And don't be divided. It's all math. And if people just listen and say, this nigga Faze is on to something. He on to something. All right? I can only be on to something while I'm here. That's it. After they pull that card and say, all right, time to come back. You know what I mean? Then that's it. I can't, but I'm giving you everything I can. I say, yo, I'm going to be a celebrity. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do about it. But I'm going to be a celebrity. And I'm going to be maybe the first, other than Dr. Malachi York, the first or second celebrity that didn't have anything to do with their orders. We didn't want nothing to do with what they set up or set up. You feel what I'm saying? No, we're going to bring this reality back or forward to divinity. That's the plan. So here go the thing that the enemy is looking out for. Okay, the more pure I become, okay, they know the light is going to shine more on others. When they realize I've reached a certain point and they see the yield of the crown, they already know my crown activated. I'm telling you the game. When they see the yield of the crown, that's when they're going to come. That's when they're going to come. I smell them. You know what I'm saying? And however these things play out, that's how they're going to play out. They come in many different ways. They'll send jinn incarnated into people in these, communities or hitmen or whatever, however they do it. That's when they come. But let me tell you something. They will not be allowed to do anything that didn't allow. You know what I'm saying? So when that time comes, it was time. You have to remember all this, not just Faze, all the teachings. And you have to remember amongst yourselves what to do. You have to remember why you listened to me. Okay? As a matter of fact, the reason why a lot of the times they don't want to just shut a nigga down so damn early is because you make them a martyr. And people say, I witnessed that. You know what I mean? We saw what you did. And you make somebody a martyr too damn fast, it blows up. And it'll blow up in their face. You know what I mean? So they try to do what snakes do. They move around. And I hear them. They be around in the woods and shit. You know what I'm saying? I be out in public. I look across and I seen a guy had on like the khakis and the bubble coat, the glasses, the little wire thing. And he just standing next to a gray SUV. You know, a gray SUV. And I looked, I actually was saying, I made a joke about it. I said, I smell these folks. I said, these niggas smell like khakis, metal, and bubble coats. And I looked across the fucking parking lot. And there was one of them, as soon as I looked at him, what'd he do? He was leaning on the SUV looking at me. He was across the parking lot, not right next to me. Across the parking lot, I got good vision too. As soon as I seen him, that when he leaned off and he got in his SUV. I didn't see him even pull off. And we were standing there waiting on the lift. This was about a month ago, I think about a month ago. You know what I mean? But I smelled him, but they had to investigate. They got to see. They said, could it be? Because they thought, that's it. You with me? So they think, could it possibly be? So they paying attention. I'm sure they got all kind of readings set up. You know what I mean? Things that they listening in for. But my point to you is, before that day, remember what this was about. It couldn't have been for nothing. You cannot die. You have to keep going. You know what I mean? That's why I hold myself to such a regard. This is a simple situation. On the fast, right before the fast, we had like noodles. Yeah, we were supposed to be having some food. I'm like, bro, ain't no way in the hell that shit gonna get here before the goddamn fast come in. I like shit. I told my brother, I said, yo, make some noodles. You know what I mean? So brother went in and made some noodles. He brought me the noodles. We had like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? So I'm fucking the noodles. I'm fucking the noodles up, right? And I called my brother to come get the plates. And he came. He still had some noodles in it. I said, did you finish? He said, no. He said, I thought y'all gonna keep going though. He said, I'm gonna keep going if y'all gonna keep going. I said, nah. I laughed it, and then he went on, and I came back in. And I said, see, that's why I can't slack, because I know how people do. They looking up to you, and if you slack, they think they can. And I'm just doing everything I can to stress that's not what this is. You know what I mean? If we say we're going to do a 7-day fast and y'all catch me on here eating, I didn't know the live was on, you don't stop fasting. You You know what I mean? And if you don't be like, I can't follow, I can't walk with this nigga because he don't even do what he said, okay, then that's me. But the science of fasting, I didn't create. You cannot allow for what happens to a leader to stop you from moving. You can't use us as an excuse as to why you can't keep this shit going. Same thing, I want to slap fire to every Nubian, okay, and every Sabian for it. Because since 2002, not only should we have had a whole nother Tamaray by now, we should have 1,000 Tamarays all over this bitch. Because Dr. York was one man, is one man. You understand? And he been watching y'all for 22 years. You don't think that he's been watching you. He said they still under the spell. He was trying to break it down. He said, look, just move in love. He watched this whole shit. People be telling him stuff he already know. He been paying attention to this whole game. It's a game. And you mean to tell me for 22 years, the only thing we have to show for is the garb and the ump with the new line on it and shit? That's all we got to show? You mean to tell me all we got to show for it is people arguing over what chant they supposed to be doing? And somebody else building their ring and shit? You understand? No, this is not the game. That ain't how you play. That ain't how you win. So my thing is, we can't keep doing that. And you can't think it's over. Because it ain't over. I'm telling you, Pop coming home. All right, I feel this. I'm waking up laughing now. Did dreams. I done went in and got him out. All kind of stuff. Gave him the paper he needed. All kind of dreams and visions I'm having. I'm laughing like I hear Pop laughing. He laughing his ass off. He laughed every time a nigga try to tell me to be quiet. Because he here. He hear this whole shit. You know what I mean? I was just talking to Uma about how people emailing. I said, oh, he doing emails? Pop online, silly. What are you talking about? He is online. This man has been watching this whole shit. He watching his children play him. Like y'all don't think he gonna get out. He saw you, almost. What he talking about? I didn't think he said certain things that he said in that letter. You go back and read the letter that you let me read. You know what I mean? He know what he's saying. Why do you think he mentioned Tupac? You know what I mean? Listen, every letter I've read from Dr. Malachi York, it's almost like he wrote that shit because he knew I was going to read it. Do you know who we dealing with? You know what I'm talking about? He see this whole game. You feel me? You can't think it's over. It's not over. It's just that I'm telling y'all, you can't do that. Don't ever do that with anybody. Once you get tipped off to do a thing, it don't matter. This person can go over there and jump off a building. You know what I mean? You're not some follower that's going to do that just because they did that. Once you figure out, okay, this is the information. This resonates with me. Take it. Some things might not resonate. Leave it on the table. I didn't tell you to pick up the table. I just said, bring what you got. Come to the table. Hey, water ready. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said. The food ready, whatever. Come to the table. Get it. All right, you don't got to eat everything. I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to be like, yo, what you doing? You don't see that? You don't see them rings right there? You know what I mean? You don't see that? No, put that on your plate. Now, you got some people, parents, I get it. All right, but I don't care. You see the bread, the greens, whatever. Get it. All right, go on about your business. I brought everybody to the table. All right, everybody good? Everybody ate? All right, cool. Here go what we got to get to. I gave you your refreshments. They were just meant to refresh you. All right. Now, here go. They think is if the people ain't moving, they think, okay, then we got them. They're docile. You understand? But all you have to do is just wake up and realize that we've been laying this whole thing out. So now what do we do? Okay, let me tell you what we're doing. Not just what do we do. What we're doing is we're encouraging and bringing forth that renaissance or rebirth. Okay, remember I told you Beyonce had a tour last year called Renaissance. All right? Which means rebirth. And you will see the green light around her. Go look it up and you'll see what I'm saying. She had Renaissance, she had rebirth. I already told you Beyonce got the sciences. People think she crazy. People think this, that, and the third. But she already got the sciences and she been saying this shit. You cannot have the rebirth without the woman. You cannot have the rebirth without understanding the science or what it means when you're born. When you first come into this reality, the first sound that you hear a baby make is ah or ah, right? Now I already broke down the 3-part harmony. Okay, remember the question. A lot of times I'll be like, who got questions? One person asks one question. We'll be in here for 4 hours answering it. You know what I mean? But the question was, do we do semen retention on the, The alignment, the harmonic conversions? I said, well, that'll be the best way to go. That'll be more favorable for you if you do it that way, because then you're only dealing with the energy that's built up and you ain't released it. You know what I'm saying? And now when you do put it out, it's going to be in alignment with all these other people. You know what I'm saying? Who will be all on different parts of the world. Harmonic convergence happened in 1987. Don't let them call me crazy, y'all. Okay? I've been saying this shit. It's in my books. Okay? Just because you ain't seen it, whatever, you read the books, you know, I ain't just be like, oh, I wonder if I do a harmonic conversion. I've been planning these things for years. All right? After a certain point, we get to a certain level. Now I say, okay, I literally stood in my living room and was talking to my Umi months ago. I said, what I'm about to do is I'm about to start doing these letters. I said, these letters are going to crack open the algorithm on a whole different field, on a whole different plane. Remember, I told y'all we can go viral whenever we want to go. All right, I said, but these letters that's what's going to bring more people. And I did it. You know what I mean? So when I tell y'all we finna do this, you know what I mean? And we going to do it. So the point is this. On that harmonic convergence, which will be April 8th, actually it's April 4th. Okay, April 4th, there's a planetary alignment taking place. All right? At 7:04 a.m. for everybody, wherever your 7:04 is, we're going to go outside. It's going to be in the book X Marks the Spot, all right, which will come out 3/14, all right, March 14th. So everybody's going to go out at 7:04. Remember what we talked about with the New Year thing, okay, where you said the New Year comes January 1st, and some people are arguing about 21st. I don't give a fuck. Whatever year, time period, whatever point, date it came in, everybody that believed in the January 1st thing was going to have a conscious reset at 12 a.m. No matter what part of the world they were in, at 12 a.m. for each of their time zones, they were going to reset themselves consciously. I said there's going to be a planetary orgasm that's going to happen. A climax is going to take place through people's minds. They literally get to cheering and kissing and all the other stuff, drinking, throw a shot back as soon as the shit hit 12. And you don't think that's energy that these elite use every 365 damn days? You feel what I'm saying? So when I explain to people, you come together and you do things at the same time, no matter what it is. That's why they have holy or unholy days. All right? One holy day almost every damn month. You know what I'm saying? At least one holy day that everybody's going to be observing and getting absorbed from, all right, or harvest for, okay? They pull in energy, currency, money, whatever you want to call it, from people every damn month. They know what happens when people come together and they align on one accord to get something done, and they use that energy to fuel their system. The system only exists because you believe in it. You know what I mean? The moment you don't believe in the system, this ain't America. This is fucking dirt. That's what this is. You want to know what it is? It's dirt. You pick it up, it's sediment, it's soil, it's all that other shit. It's not America. You believe it's America. You go over there to Russia, you believe that's Russia because they say it's Russia. You know what I mean? You call the shit something else tomorrow. If a star fall tomorrow and some way you was just on the one place of the planet that it didn't hit, okay, you call it whatever you want to call it. All this shit get wiped out. It was all bullshit from the beginning. It never existed except in the minds of the people. Okay? So when people go outside collectively with this harmonic convergence, okay, and sing this sound together, what will be the sound phase? It'll be the first step because we're going through 3 steps leading up to the solstice. All right? 3 steps. And those 3 steps are 1, 3, and 5. And if you think I made that up just to be unique, then you need to go study music notation and learn about the triad. All right? Because that 1 and that 3 and 5 will slap you in the face. You're like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Exactly. The first, third, and the 5th steps. Okay? The same way you have 1 level in masonry. Then the 3rd step in masonry. Then the 5th step in masonry with 1 and the 3 and the 5. Okay? What some people mistake as the 3 and the 5 and the 7, which is a whole different conversation. You know what I'm saying? But the 1 and the 3 and the 5 say, how old are you? I'm 3 years old. Okay, you're a fellow craft. How old are you? I'm 5 years old. Okay, you're a master mason. You know what I'm saying? 1, 3 plus 5 equals 9. And that's the amount of time that they gave Dr. Melchizedek York, 135 years. You know what I'm saying? You see the game? And he was the one who had a note in his hand or a scroll in his hand or a book in his hand. And he was smiling as they were walking him out where you see that 1, 3, 5. And you see right there in one of the parts of the heading, it said, it's not over. He was smiling. He said, it's not over. You'll be surprised, I'm telling you. So when you go outside and at 7:04, why am I doing it? Pay attention. 7:04, that's G-O-D. Okay? 7:04. And it just so happens to be that 7:04 is the crack of dawn. Are you listening to me? And I broke down the science of 7:04 in the rehab book, and I explained to you, let me see if we can do it now, because the shit going to be backwards. But if you got the rehab book, matter of fact, let's use that as a reset, all right? Or rise them up again. Go to Play for Change. Okay, see the cash app right there, plate the change, send a donation in your email, and it'll be 10 books I'm going to send you. I'm going to have Mrs. Faye send you, right? The 10 books. Out of those 10 books, there's one book called Rehab. Open it up, crack it open, all right, and reveal to yourself the science of 704. And what you'll find is if you write out 704, all right, let's see if I'm fine. I hope I'm fine. If you write out 704 as the open 4 as opposed to the closed 4, and you flip it upside down, you will get HOL. Are you with me? And once you get HOL, you realize that's whole, as in WHOLE, okay? Or HOLY, which means holy, as in complete, or totus, all right? Meaning perfect and complete, as in complete for us, our life, all right? You have the power over all things. You understand? Perfect, perfect for us, our life. Making it perfect or whole or complete, that's holy, all right? So when you say somebody's holy, whole, helo is the corona shining when you get perfect. You understand? Helo, halo, helios, the sun. Become sun people or people of the sun. All right, 704. And it just so happens to be that number 7 is the letter G. And that O represents a dash in masonry, which we just fill it in as a 0. Okay, but it's a dash when we write it out in masonry. Okay, you'll see us do 7-4. All right, actually a lot of Masons don't do that. That's not what they do. G-D. Okay, the GDs, they'll do 7-4, and even they don't do 7-4. Okay, there's a whole science to Big L, the overseer. You know what I mean? There's a whole different conversation. But the brothers and sisters know what I'm talking about, right? So you got the 7-4, which is 704 or G0D, because 4 is the D. That's why when you see 424, like I put in the New Brain song, 424 means death before dishonor, DVD. You understand? So 704 a.m. at the crack of dawn, after the darkness begins to fade, stay with me. We're going to go outside, all of us, and we're going to, at 704, release the tones, right? And you're going to do it all together. Some of y'all going to have different octaves. That's the beauty of it. All right? Some of y'all have different pitches. That's the beauty of it. All right? It's going to be done together. People say, yo, I'm supposed to hold this shit. Listen, you do it as many times as you're doing it. You breathe, nigga, but you still do it up till 7:11. All right? So you're going to do it for 7 minutes. So from 7:04 to 7:11, you're going to do, all right? You're going to make the sound that the baby makes when they first come into this reality, symbolic of the rebirth. Remember, all is mind. Universe is mental. While you're doing this, all the things I'm saying to you, they're going to be in your super or sub or unconscious. And that tone that you're going to be spewing forth, which is why they try to silence us when we get to a certain platform, because they know the power of that tongue or that tone, right? Especially if you have a huge influence, ability, or position. When you utter that tone, everything I'm telling you right now is going to come back. And it's going to sneak right through this simulation of Uncle Sam. Encore Sam, all right? We say Uncle Sam, it's Encore Sam, all right? They want to make sure you say Encore. You know what I mean? They want you to come back into this core reality, all right? Which they've already ruptured. They've corrupted it. They ruptured the core. And they want you to be a part of the simulation, all right? And that's why I tell you that shadow man in that shade room, okay, because that shadow man is none other than Uncle Sam also. Because remember, Uncle Sam had the hat, and they called him a hat man. Okay, so that Sam being, or that Sim being, all right, or that sin being, okay, is Uncle Sam, okay? So we're going to creep through that reality, and it's going to cause for, when you add in the heat, it's going to cause for this hardened reality that's been trying to linger to be loosened even more, okay? And because all of y'all deciding to do this together in the green light, because we haven't reached the blue yet, but you know, you should be able to pick up on where it's at. I already said it almost. I think I actually did say it on y'all other show, so people walking, you know when it's coming. You know exactly when it's coming. All right? That green light is the agreeable light. That means you're choosing that side of you that's able to agree. And you said, I may not know everything this nigga talking about, but listening to his voice and the fact that he been standing here talking for this damn long about this, and he do this all the damn time, maybe he's meaning what he's saying. I don't like to say genuine and sincere anymore, because it got gin there and sin there, okay? But he know what he's talking about, and he means what he say. He's passionate, whatever you want to call it. I don't even like that word. But he means what he say, okay? He has his heart or his center in the right place, okay, for him to be continuously doing this when he could have easily strayed away and led others astray. Especially as soon as people nigga got 50,000 followers, all right, and they act like they was Beyonce and Jay-Z. You know what I mean? I still, this shit still ain't got to my head because I know what this is about. They didn't know what they wanted to do this for. They had no reason other than they was going after the greed, the fame, the power. They don't know. They didn't have a definiteness of purpose. But you can feel and sense the definiteness of purpose in my voice. How many times have I brought up to you about how they put hits out? You know what I mean? Did I flinch? How many times have I brought up to you about who and what got issues? I told you about how the conscious community, they all watch. They all pay attention to me. All right, they know that. They have to because it's the most conscious explosion that's out here right now. They got to. But they still go off into their own little thing and they always do their little sidebar and all that stuff because they thinking that if they do that, then it could hinder. Okay? There's a lot of people that they really don't want to say that they're inspired by me. They don't want to say it. I don't have no issue. That's fine. Okay? They don't want to say they're inspired by me. So what they do is they try to challenge it off to the side instead of saying, look, you could ask me a question and I can give you the answer. If you want to know what I'm doing, ask me and I'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? If you want to understand why I'm doing this, that, and the third, ask me and I'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? DM me, come on here live, whatever. Don't try to heckle, you get booted. But if you really want the truth, I'll give you the truth. Okay? The point being, people can sense that from me. All right? That's the reason they didn't want me on their lives. Y'all remember when I used to be like, damn, they don't want me on the live. With like 7 people on here, 10 people was on here. Y'all remember them days? I'm like, damn, I'm trying to get to the people that have these conversations. They don't want to have these conversations with me. They calling all these other people up. People didn't have no following, none of that. And that's just what it was. But now it's like, okay, it don't even need to be that. People can sense it. So because they could sense it, they didn't want me nowhere near them because they knew that when people saw me standing next to them, they would see that. You know what I mean? And you can't unsee that. So what I did, I pulled that from the mental plane right here. Boom. Here go the green light that you were experiencing. You didn't know what it was. I showed you what it was. All right? I wasn't even born when the sons of green light was out here. You know what I'm saying? But I still know Yahuwah. Yahuwah. I was given omnipotent, O light. You were led by way of the light. And that light is in your light, O light. Or Ya Nur. Okay, or Ya Nun. Ya Noon. I was given that. As soon as I got here, I'm like, what are these words right here? Here's what it means, and here's how you can use them. Here go the tones. They didn't want the people to have the tone. I say we're going to learn the language. All right? We come on here, we learn Nuwapu. There's a reason for that. This ain't for us. The brother Young Elder was asking, he said, yo, what would be the secret language people need to learn so that we can talk and they don't understand what we'll be talking about? Listen, if we can learn it, they can learn it. All right? It ain't about what you think it's about. Okay? Because you go into the logistics of it. All right? Linguistically, something happens in your brain. When you learn a language, okay, that language alters your brain. And that's what we need to happen. Because when that brain gets altered, by every definition of the phrase, you're repenting. Do you understand what I'm explaining to you? And when you say rahubat instead of greetings, Halal punches the damn air. He said that this can't be. You understand? Listen, you got people like Nikki Lopez and Jacob York. These people have blocked me. I didn't listen. I know why Jacob blocked me, but Nikki Lopez didn't have no damn reason to block me. Lady only got, I think she had 3,000 followers. I ain't never been on her page, none of that. But just from investigating, I'm like, damn, this lady don't block me. You know what I mean? But it's because every time she turn around, I'm reminding her of her own delusion. Every time she turn around, I'm not one of the people. Listen, I was sitting here today and I had to freeze for a second. Miss Faye asked what's going on. I still ain't said it. I'm going to say it now. It fucked me up when I realized how many of not only Pop's children, okay, but Nuwabians still follow Nikki Lopez. Right? Now, all this happening behind the scenes. You know me. I wake up one day and I get bored enough, I'm going to do a letter to Nikki Lopez. I do a letter to Jacob York. I write a letter to whoever the fuck I want to write a letter to. But I look at this and I say, yo, why are his children still following her? If you don't know who Nikki Lopez is, she was the one who partnered with Jacob York to bring the case against Dr. Melikazi York. Not only are a lot of them still following her, a lot of them still following Jacob. So I sat here and I was like, wait a minute. And I had to go back through all the shit since I was like 12, 13 years old. And it's like, yo, it's everybody, y'all. When he was like, trust nobody, that's what he meant. I'm like, yo, something in me, I don't care who nobody is. I know you lied on my mama or I know you lied on my father, and you got them life. You know what I mean? Now, here's the other stupid thing about it. He got 135 years. These biggie body ass niggas be out here talking about he took a plea deal. Nigga, I never take a plea. I never admit to no shit like that. Da, 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 da. They don't know shit about shit then. Because first of all, a plea never meant you was guilty. It never meant that. For some reason, the only place that pleading guilty means you're guilty is Dr. Malachi York. For a nigga stealing a Snickers bar, he plead guilty, niggas say he ain't do that shit. That just mean he was trying to get less time. You know what I mean? Niggas shoot up a block, he plead guilty, he ain't do that shit. He was trying to get less time. So please make this make sense for me and everybody watching y'all dumbasses. How do a nigga plead guilty and get 135 years? What time was they trying to give him? Who they think this man is? Who they think he is? They said, oh yeah, you plead guilty? I ain't gonna hold you. I was gonna give you that 780. But because you plead guilty, nigga, I'm gonna do you 135. I'm gonna fuck with you. Cause you took this shit to trial, nigga. We did 100. We did it with 780. Do you see how stupid your dumb ass sound? But these be the niggas who everybody hear first. Wait till I get there. Everybody gets a letter. You get a letter. You get a letter. Listen, everybody gets a letter. Wait till I get there. Cause I'm gonna get there to the point where you be like, who is that? Some names I ain't gonna be able to run with right now. Because be like, who the fuck is that? But when I get there, it's gonna be so big, it don't matter. I can pick average Joe Blow off the street. They be like, this nigga Joe Blow full of shit. You know what I mean? I can pick whoever. I remember everything y'all niggas said, everything y'all niggas did. Hocus for a fifth, all y'all, I haven't forgotten about y'all. All right? It ain't, listen, if I said your name before, I haven't forgotten about you. We're gonna get to you, okay? And you're gonna have your time and your day in court also. Okay, like I said, everybody's gonna feel it. All right? And it's not over. The game ain't done. You feel me? So how dumb y'all niggas sound? Hope you been to Rikers Island. The fuck, you did 4 years. How can you make fun of a nigga being in prison? You feel what I'm saying? You did Rikers Island. You know what I mean? Not just prison. You did the devil's hallway. You know what I mean? And you make fun of him. These niggas was all on Clubhouse doing this shit. I ain't forgot. But they would make jokes and say, I'm not going to plead guilty. But you never been in that situation. So the one voice they haven't heard yet, which I'm going to make sure they'll be able to get this audio, and I'm going to make it loud. I'm going to post it on my YouTube. All right? They ain't heard Pop voice. All right? Recently, in 2021, I got a call from 2021 when he was speaking about what was going on. The lawyer wound up cutting him off because he had to, somebody lady was on the phone with the lawyer, and he was out. I hear the voice, but the call got sent to me. You know what I'm saying? But he was saying, he said, I was tortured. You know what I mean? It's been it was 20 years at that time. About 20 years. He said, I was tortured. He said, they denied me sleep. You know what I mean? He said, then they told him about a plea deal. He didn't know anything about it. He said, in Garland, which was the motherfucker who was on the case, he said he wasn't supposed to be on there because he wouldn't want him to represent him anymore. So by the time they got in court and put that camera on him, Dr. Malachi York is the sharpest man I know. Go watch Dr. York 1992, where you see him in the purple shirt that I told y'all about before, Mount Zion teaching. Go watch Dr. York 1992 and see him teaching with the braids and how he's expressing. You'll even see a clip of it in the Letter to 21 Savage video. Go watch that and go watch any of the other videos of Dr. York teaching, and then go watch where he pled guilty and see if that's the same man. Tell me that's the same man. Tell me he can hold his head up. Tell me he cannot blink for 3 seconds. Tell me he said it on the phone call. I'm going to make it loud. He said, you could tell I wasn't there. He said I was under what's called duress and coercion. He said he was under duress. Nobody wants to deal with that. So he wasn't there, but they made sure he wasn't there because they were fucking with him. You know what I mean? They were depriving him of sleep, food, water. By the time he got in that room, this is not Dr. Malachi York who was out here. So go watch it. When they say plead guilty, go look at the video, then go look at. They don't want y'all to do that. So they run with them narratives. Every narrative that any of these motherfuckers have came forth with, if any one of us who were the Nuwabians or the people who were there around us, Ansars, okay, or people who walked with the master, whether you claim this or claim that, anybody who was there, if we would have been able to testify, they wouldn't have been able to keep the narrative running. So they blocked all the testifying. They blocked all the testimonies. They blocked all the people from being able to do that. And then from then on, they hired these people like Chuck Morgan, the rest of these people, to come out and push the opposite. Todrick Noel, all these other people, they ran and pushed the opposite. They've been doing this shit. You got to ask yourself, after you get a nigga put up in jail, how the fuck do 22 years later you still make videos on him? You know what I mean? Your whole goal, I know the feds don't do that to this day. So this nigga got to be a whole different degree of fed. They don't even do that. They get a nigga locked up, they not running campaigns about why he need to be in there. You already did that. You already did all that. You set him up, you put him in there. But for 22 years, Chuck, 22 years, nigga, I can still see you with your rabbit ass talk about that ain't true. He did it. Bro, your whole life has been based on, it's been 22 years, y'all. Your whole life has been based on trying to convince people that a man who's supposedly so undeniably guilty is supposed to be in prison. No, you know the deception got to keep being fed. The truth gonna hold its own. Truth for knocking nigga ass out, that's it. You know what I'm talking about? The lie, you got to keep buttering this shit up. You know what I mean? They know it's deception. You understand? So my point was, I don't know why the hell so many people still follow Nikki Lopez. That shit fucked me up. And some of the names I saw, I'm like, that's weird. But they don't think, nobody gonna see that. Who is somebody to make it known. But I'm letting y'all know, this shit go way deeper, y'all. It go way deeper. And for that lady to have blocked me, I ain't listen. I never knew she even had an Instagram. I never thought to check. But for that lady to have blocked me, you feel what I'm saying? It's fucking with her soul. It's fucking with her. It's fucking with her. You know what I'm saying? Every time she turn around, she see Faiseone saying something else about the man who you got locked up for nothing. You know what I mean? Well, it was for something. Nikki Lopez know what it was about. Don't you, Nikki? You know what it was about. You know that it was people who was on the land, who people like Kush, and you can't play me. I want a motherfucker to try to play me like I wasn't around. I want a motherfucker to try to play me like you can't go look up one of the music videos that I shot for Kush. And Kush was 14 years old when you slept with him. You were an adult. You were an adult. So interestingly enough, all the people who were having sex with all these minors seemingly joined forces to go against Malachi after Jacob York decided he had a problem with his father. I think as a 25-year-old who wasn't even born when the shit was going on first, when y'all were first having y'all issues and y'all people getting exiled and stuff like that, as a 25-year-old, I sense motive. I sense motive like a motherfucker. That somebody can approach you and say, I know what you did last summer. All right? So either you line up with me and go against my father, or these FBI agents who I done told all the shit y'all was doing, all right, they coming for you. And your children are going to be in DFAS. And then all of a sudden they said, stop right there, what you need me to do. Stop right there, what you need me to say. Then Habiba Washington and the rest of y'all, Farasha Muhammad, the rest of y'all came out and recanted y'all statements. Y'all recanted and told the truth about what really happened. And people want to act like that don't exist. You feel what I'm saying? So no, I just want to make sure that's clear. All right, but again, they want to only try to play Dr. York. They're only trying to play him. And I'm telling you, it go way deeper than what y'all think. It's a lot of people who benefit and have been benefiting from Dr. York being in prison. It's a sad thing. It's very sad that his own family, you know what I mean? It's to the point where it's real weird. You can't tell me that this person, who Nikki ain't even your blood family, Nikki is responsible. She went on the ID channel. You get what I'm saying? And went and told lies. I'm sitting in the presence of one of them niggas and they telling me, hey, she lying about that. She wasn't there for that. That's not that. That time is this. That's a whole different. But yet you follow her. That's confusing to me. You feel what I'm saying? So watch, I'm going to get down to the bottom of that. I'm going to see what's going on with that. Like I've been figuring out what's going on with all this other shit. And we're going to make it live. And we're going to make that big. Okay? You're not going to be able to do it. And if you have to figure out why the one who is the youngest of every damn body, who was 4 years, not even 4 years old, 3 years old when they locked him up, is the loudest about him, then you're going to have to figure that out in your soul about who that is that y'all played with. But that's my family. And he did not come here by himself. Simple. All right, so bottom line, when we get to that point, April 4th, okay, this year, we're going to all come out 7:04 a.m. It's going to be a big thing. And at 7:11, you're going to prostrate. All right? No matter where you are. Okay? 7:11, you're going to prostrate. If you got to take a bathroom break, bring you a cloth. You know what I mean? Whatever. I don't care where you are. Okay? Unless you're driving, it's a whole different conversation. I get it. At the red light, just put your head down. And we'll count it. You know what I mean? But still kind of like look up so you can see the green come in. But at the red light, just put your head down and then we'll count it. You say, oh, you prostrated. You know what I mean? So yeah, at 7:11, everybody prostrates. If you can manage. All right? Only reason why you wouldn't be able to do this is if you have to work or it affects your sleep schedule. And I understand it. Okay? Just make sure that the shadow hour before, you find time to prostrate and you find time to release the sound of the tones of for 7 minutes. That's all we asking you for. 7 minutes. All right? After you do that, you prostrate at that 7th minute. Boom. What are you doing? What do you do during prostration? I thought you never asked. Gratitude is your main word. It's your best word. All right? During prostration, it's gratitude. Okay? Experience the gratitude. That's what it's ultimately about. You know what I mean? You don't even have to deal with it spiritually. I told people, it's a science between, remember they made fun of all the people that's hugging trees and shit? But you hug a tree, there's actually a healing effect that takes place. And I literally tell people, go try it. Don't take my word. Go try it. Attempt it. You feel like you're going through a lot, you're depressed, whatever it is, go hug a tree. They understand. They've been here. They know everything you could possibly be going through. They done seen your mama them go through it. They saw your mama them go through it. Some of these trees been here hundreds of years. What are you talking about? They have wisdom and an essence and an air of wisdom is associated with those beings. And they are alive. All right? Don't make people think that those are some... don't let them make you think that it's some abiotic thing just outside, you know what I mean, just sitting there waiting. No, it's alive. It breathes. Okay? It lives. It feels. So they got you. And they're not going to be the person that's going to try to put you down about what you're going through, none of that other stuff, tell you suck it up, none of that. As soon as you hug them, they're going to be like, I got you. All right? So that's similar to the science of prostration. You giving it all away. Give it away. Ground it. If you need, well, I'm giving it, I'm trying to give people the religious side, spiritual side, scientific, anything that'll help. I'm not wasting time here. There's a reason for all of this. Give it all away. I've tested this out. Okay, I don't tell people to do things I haven't done myself. All right? So if you ever drove by, seen a nigga hugging a tree, it was probably me. I tested it myself. I literally needed it at times. And I go. I'm a healer, as you call it. I don't like to use that word. They flag that word now. All right? But shaman is my middle name, literally. On my actual birth docket or birth certificate or certificate of live birth, whatever you want to call it. All right? Omari Shaman Hargrove. Okay? So middle name, medicine man, healer. All right? People call on me and have called on me to take things out of them or to help them with this or, you know, all kind of stuff. That it can have a toll on you if you know what I'm talking about. It can tax you at times because you're literally, if you're energy sensitive, let's not deal with it the healing way because I feel some people like, what? Okay, let's say, y'all remember the downer, the nigga who come around and he's just down and everybody feel the energy and next thing you know, everybody down, or the upper, you know what I'm saying, who come in, he up and then everybody up. All right, that energy transfers. So imagine being able to siphon and extract some shit. Okay, using visualization, acupuncture, all kind of different things. They got traditional ways that you can do it, heat, all different ways where you can target or send energy somewhere or pull energy to a certain place to have it extracted through the feet or through the hands. All right, imagine doing that and you're carrying it. You have to know how to ground or it'll fuck you up. You understand? So I use trees or I literally go to the ground and I ground. Lightning grounds, okay? Energy grounds. I'm not speaking something that's pseudo. Energy grounds. And the science of healing has been around since before my great-grandparents were here, okay? So it's been around. I'm just telling you I do it. And a part of me doing that means I have to learn how to ground and make actual connections with these things that they want us to think are just things and not living, okay? Trees, the ground, the grass, all of that. So you'll hear me say in the Clout freestyle on the Wedding of the Lamb album, I had a song called Clout, all right? And I said, I step outside and put my head in grass. I said, what you know about a prostrate? I'm saying this shit like it's some gangster shit. So nigga, I walk outside and put my head in grass. Fucking talking about what you know about a prostrate. Yeah, I gotta make it sound like that so niggas be like, hell no, I don't know what you're talking about, but I want to know about a prostrate too. Shit, fucking nigga put my head in grass, you know, niggas outside, head in grass and shit. Fuck y'all niggas doing, nigga, you don't know about this shit. What the fuck you know about a prostrate, nigga? Faiseone put me out of this shit. Y'all niggas get down, put y'all head to the ground. I'm telling y'all niggas, we gonna make prostration popular. I'm telling you. And we gonna remind niggas about it. Say at one point in time your ancestors did this and there was a science to it before they religiousized it. There was a science of grounding. So I put my head in grass. I'm not playing. I might do this shit right now, but it's just, I don't like doing this shit for display. That's my only thing. It fuck my nerves up when they could be on here doing that shit. Turn the goddamn camera off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When they be praying, say, Jesus, I want to tell you. Listen, all that for show shit, that ain't what this is. So when I said that in the Scream song, when I said I was taught if this song displayed and they probably just faking, that's real life. Because you got to actually do this. You got to press the camera. You know what I mean? And you got to, that's, no, bro. You know what I mean? Even Allah told me, stay your stupid ass up, nigga. That ain't what we made it for. We ain't even had cameras. What you talking about? So no, it ain't none of that. I say it in the song, prostration. It's an art. You know what I mean? You'll find monks doing it. You know what I mean? They halfway do it when they meet a nigga. So when they meet a nigga, it's just, you know what I mean? It's I was about to, nigga. I got you. It's a part of their way of life. So one day we're going to remember what that is. That's why I told you with the letter to 21 Savage or the 21 Savage Exposed, when you see that Ankh, which people think is a dagger, all right, which is really a sword, where you say Isa knife, and it's an Ankh, and Isa was Imam Isa, and he was right there on Tamaray, and he learned that same shit where you see that S in the center, which is that sword, and that sword was literally speaking about saying one word and meaning another word, and you say Isa, it's a knife, and interestingly enough, that became the thing that they ran with. Okay, it's not a knife. I said it's an Ankh, and all you gotta do is look at it, you won't be able to unsee it. Okay, that mark was always about prostration, okay, or the sajda. All right, when you have prostration, now you know what this mark thing is. You've been rubbing your head on the damn concrete or rubbing your head on the ground to say that you were willing to submit to the will of the divine. What's the science? You were willing to do good, all right, or do good works and stay in divine order. That's what it's about. Simple. I think everybody should have been able to get that wherever you're coming from. All right, you shouldn't. I don't think nobody should be confused about prostration. All right, because we smart worship. And we know Jesus, for the Christians, Jesus prayed by falling on his face. So did Aaron and the rest of them niggas. They fell on their face like Muslims. Okay, so they wasn't just doing this. They failed. And they were serious about prayer. It wasn't nothing to play around about. All right, you know what I'm saying? Please let me hit this lotto. No, they got serious about shit when it was time to prostrate. They gave it all away, saying, I don't know what to do with this. Whatever this is, take this shit. All right, and then it worked because that was them being able to have the degree of submission. That's where you get that submit translation for Muslim. Okay? Not just the peace, you have the submit one also. Are you with me? So that's what it's going to be. So 7:04 on April 4th, 7:04 a.m., that's when we'll go out and we'll do the and that'll be the first step. Literally the first tone. And we're going to do it for 7 minutes up to 7:11. And then at 7:11, we're going to prostrate. All right? Listen, if you got neighbors, all this other stuff, do it anyway. You know, they want to ask what you're doing, say, hey, y'all, tell them what it's about. You know what I mean? And you still do it. Whatever it is, wherever you are. Okay? And the key thing is you're doing it together. The same thing with this fast. Okay, now we're on day 2. I'm sure it's 12. I've been talking for a long time. What time is it now? Huh? Yeah, so it's after 1 now. You know what I'm saying? So this is the second day. So this is your last day on this fast. And I did this fast as a reminder for one, Sister said she wanted, but a reminder for one to have it be that people remember about what happened during those 7 days, okay? And then we continue to do more fast, all right? Did I make any of this up? No. Everything I said is factual. Everything I've been telling y'all is factual. All you got to do is look into it and say, damn, this shit makes sense. Then you have to ask yourself, why does it make sense? You know what I mean? Their whole thing is they wanted to cover it up. I know a lot of Masons. You know what I mean? We were taught the wrong way, brothers. We weren't supposed to conceal forever. They should have never put that always there. There's nothing wrong with saying I will conceal because there's a time for concealment or concealing. All right? And then there's a time for revealing. But they said we were always, and that was a problem with me. At 16 years old, I'm like, this doesn't make, why would they tell us to say that? Because at one point in time, you have to reveal. The sun doesn't stay out of sight. At one point, it comes out. You know what I mean? So we in this day and time where people come out Revelation, Apocalypse, and you still don't think it was time to let people know what all this was about. But I get it. I respect it because it's an order. And you took an OB, you took an oath, and for whatever that means to you, it means to you. What it means to me was nothing. My oath is to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? And with the Most High or the Divine, I know that they gave us the moon and the sun. I know they gave us nighttime and daytime. You know what I'm saying? I know they gave us negative charge and positive charge. All right? Anybody study the ions? The science of the ions is reflected in masonry. Okay? They gave us the black and the white. You gave us the black and the white when you put it on the damn chessboard floors. But you also gave us checkers and chess and made people think it was checkerboard. So I get that too. Okay? But somebody had to be like, no. And it wasn't just about masonry. Okay? Because masonry, like I've explained before, that ain't nothing but some neuroscience and innovation. It's creative neuroscience. All right? After you got the masonry that came out, we did the Rosicrucian. All right? We can do the Moors. We're going to do the matriarch eventually. All right? It's about telling people, hey, look, anything you know, bring it forth now. Bring it to the table. All that is getting into the wrong hands. Stop lying, okay? It's already in the wrong hands. They got atomic bombs, nigga. The fuck? What else? What you gonna teach a nigga who made the damn atomic bomb about masonry, nigga? He know everything there is to know about masonry. You know what I'm saying? He knows everything there is to know about atoms clashing together to create new realities, nigga. He's a builder. Every time he destroyed some shit, he built a space, a gap. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's already in the wrong hands. Direct energy weapons, biological weapons, or bioweapons, all kind of stuff. It's nothing. They fucking around with the weather, nigga. Like, you walk outside, it ain't supposed to be cold. They made it cold. They said, hell no, who the fuck touched my thermos? They turned the shit back down. That's in the wrong hands. They fucking around with the weapons of the gods. They control heaven or the atmosphere. You know what I mean? They got Saturn lights floating around. They're monitoring every angle of your planet. They're on different planets. Like, they got rocket ships. They shooting shit in the air every 7 days. You can't tell me they still shooting shit at the same shit that you try to tell people it was a firmament that couldn't be broken. You can't tell me they wasting billions of dollars to keep hitting the glass. No, bro. They going some motherfucking where. They just ain't telling you where they going. And they using them same bitty-ass rocket ships to make you think that it's them same bitty-ass rocket ships that they using. When in all actuality, they have anti-gravity vehicles. And if anything was supposed to hinder them motherfuckers from getting past that firmament or that Van Allen belt or the magnetosphere, whatever, they been had the technology to get past it. You understand? They just not going to show you. You know what I mean? What Tesla was building the UFO for? For his amusement? And Tesla was 1943. You know what I mean? He been doing it. So damn near 100 years later, all right, you still thinking they playing with them little bitty ass rockets that we got in our garage? Come on now, it's all a game. Elon Musk is way more advanced. They got way more advanced projects that don't have nothing to do with nothing that you're seeing. Okay? But it's all of this for TV. That's why the Russians said it. They said they faked that shit. It was a TV. You know what I'm saying? Because it's to tell you a vision. They say, see, that rocket ship can't get out of there. Because if they release this amount of fuel to get off the planet, how they gonna get back? Duh. They wanted you to figure that out. So what's your conclusion? That they wanted you to arrive to? There's no moon. Niggas don't went as far as say there's no moon. You look at it, you see the shit, there's no moon. They went as far as say ain't nobody ever been there. How you know? How do you know any one of those? Like, how do you know there's no moon? And how do you know anybody been there? You ain't been there to go see. You feel what I'm saying? But that's the conclusion they want everybody to arrive to. Instead of saying, become astronomers and go find out for yourself. Become astronauts and go find out for yourself. And they come tell us. You know what I mean? If they make you sign an NDA, well then shit, sign the NDA and still come tell us. You know what I mean? If you like that, you know what I mean? Whatever. People ain't like that. Never mind though. That was a joke. I'm just playing. I ain't telling nobody to break no contractual agreement and shit. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what it's about, y'all. The unity, when you come together and do shit, it's a lot different. All right? Stop letting them conceal it. No more concealment. All right? Tell the cappers or the coverers, all right, that the time is up. The time of Halal is up. The time of concealment is up. How many times we got to say it? All right? Tell 19 Keys, tell Billy Carr's best of them, hey, look, if you got them sciences and them keys, you need to really tell people what it is now. You can't keep acting though, because I know when the shit y'all saying don't make the sciences. I know that. That's why nigga be saying shit. Remember I told you he said that slick shit and was like, we don't need to tell the secrets. Anybody trying to tell the secrets, you must be afraid. That sounds, you spoke like a true Kafir. And 19 Keys, Jabril know what I mean when I say that. You spoke like the true Kafir. Okay? What was so interesting about the Kafir? All right, because we say kafir, it sounds like cover. Kafir, cover. All right? The kafirun, meaning the ones who are the disbelievers, one way, all right, or the ones who conceal that which they know to be true. Okay? They know it's true, but they don't want you to know it's true. Okay? The interesting thing about them kafirun is they have the light. But they think if they keep the light for themselves and give you the little trinkets about what this shit is about, then they can continue to go high level. And then everybody else up under them looking up to them. That's why I said, why the fuck would I follow 19 Keys? That part of us is still locked. Why are we following? He can't unlock it. There would be no reason why 19 Keys got damn near 1 million followers and the shit still ain't been unlocked. How much time does it take for somebody that done reached that level to be able to explain the real 19 Keys? How long does it take? How long does it take anybody who the Masons, all y'all niggas is Masons, all right, so y'all know what I'm talking about. How long is it going to take y'all to be like this? Well, I remember 19 Keys talking about, so this is the time of revelation when he heard me say the shit. This is the time of revelation. Everything got to be revealed. Which I told you, that's an oxymoron, because you said nothing needs to be revealed. It need to be kept secret unless we're scared. And then he said it's time to be revealed. Which one? Pick one. Pick one. I'll be here when you do it. Right? Okay, when y'all was going to do this? When we going to take the lid off and be like, here go what was in the hat. Pull the rabbit out the hat. Bring the light out of the darkness. You understand? But no, this is what they want to do. They want to take the light, which is a dove, and they want to do this. Okay? Because it was 2 different tricks. You remember? Magic tricks. All right? And I'm not a magician who does tricks. Okay? Because a trick means to deceive or to beguile somebody. So if you had the sleight of hand, all right, or the S-light of hand, you know that if I move my hand like this and I got you over here, everything I'm doing is right here. You know what I mean? But I got you over here. It's a sleight of hand and got you paying attention. The light is on my hand. All right. So what they'll do with that sleight of hand is they'll slide the hand, they'll take a dove. All right. And they'll put the dove in the coat jacket. And they'll say, abracadabra, kazam. They'll say, abracadabra, voila. You know what I mean? Alakazam, abracadabra, voila. All right. And then you're like, where the fuck did the dove go? Well, the dove ain't finna flap around. You want to know why? Because when a dove is exposed to darkness, it goes docile. Look up what I'm telling you. When a dove gets put in a dark room, it might as well be in a coma. You understand? And then you got to expose that dove to hyper light in order to pop them out that coma. You understand? So what's my point? They take the light, they do this. That's what the Kappas do. That's why I said, pay attention. I showed you the symbol of the kaf, or the calf. Or kaf, all right, as that moon, that crescent moon that's on niggas' forehead. Ain't that crazy? That when you go look at it, you can't unsee it now, can you? You go look at the kaf, and you will see a crescent moon. And we warned you in these holy books, beware, they're going to walk around with the symbol of the kaf on their head. And then they came out now in the sun cycle, niggas is walking around giving niggas moons to put on their head. Now, this means that 19 Keys is literally walking around giving niggas the mark of the beast to put on their forehead. Did we not tell you that? Revelation chapter 13. How you know it's the mark of the beast? I'll show you. I thought you never asked. I thought y'all don't never ask it. I'm gonna show you. It's the mark of the beast right here. Here go the beast. His name by tone is called Hillel. All right, you should be able to see it. Hillel. You see that crescent right there? You see that crescent right there? That's Hillel. All right, Hillel. And it means crescent, by the way. You go look up Hillel in Arabic. Some of y'all learned this already, but you do class, you got to pull up certain things, recap certain things. You go to Arabia or Arabic, and you'll find that Hillel means crescent. You understand? This is the beast. He looked like the damn beast. You know what I mean? And that's his symbol. You understand? And they said the mark of the beast would be on people's forehead. And niggas walking around with the moon on their forehead. In the sun cycle. You know what I mean? I'm going to say, look, all right, look, I get it. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad had his time. He came forth. He brought that science. He was the one who had the shit on. Okay, he was the one who niggas is imitated and mimicking, trying to be like. Okay, this is not still the moon cycle, though. Because as soon as 1970 came along and the knowledge of Lamb was brought forth, all right, a transcendence beyond a moon letter, and you were able to get the right angle of the 90 degrees, which 90 degrees, you go outside, guess what's outside? The sun, okay? There was no more time for the moon. So you wonder why niggas got so much following and attention, all of this stuff, and yet the realm beneath them has not shifted, is because they still up under that moon. It's not fast enough. It's not fast enough. You feel what I'm saying? You just say, who is phase one associated with? We don't need a lot of niggas associated with us. One of us can trample a whole conscious community by our damn self. What are you talking about? We don't need a lot of people, because one sun can engulf and will engulf a moon, any moon, a bunch of moons. Throw a moon toward the sun. You know what I mean? The moon gone. Throw the sun toward the moon gone. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a more powerful cycle, and it requires more energy. It requires more alertness, and the whole purpose. And if he doesn't know what I'm talking about, you should tell him to go back and revisit El Isra, the night journey. Okay, because you have the night of power that everybody seems to remember about. Okay, what was it? Laylat al-Qadr. All right, you had the night of power. All right, so go back and look at El Isra. El Isra wa Miraj. And you're going to read Surah 17, chapter or verse ayah 12. And you're going to read about that grand light that we're talking about, where one light was devoid of light. It was called the night light, the moon, all right, or your Maya, okay? It was devoid of light. And then the Shem, okay, or Shemzi, was full of light, potent, powerful light, okay? Which one's a higher level? Okay, is a higher level conversation? Yes. So let's look at this. Here go the two levels. You see this level down here? This the crescent. This is where the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was. He came through and scooped everybody up from down here. He threw them up here. All right? Malachi York did like this. He started catching niggas. You know what I'm saying? Jumping down. He like, what the fuck you doing? That's why Malachi York was like, a lot of niggas didn't stay on the boat. He said, a lot of people didn't stay on the boat with me. You know what I'm saying? They would do the umbrella. You know what I'm saying? They're like, what the fuck y'all niggas doing? So we just kept doing this. I mean, all right. So which one is higher level conversation? How is higher level conversation going back to 1950s, 1960s and just staying there? Because that's the symbol. You know what I'm saying? Higher level would have meant you went past Water of Dean. You had to go past him. And guess who passed him? None other than Dr. Malachi York. You know what I'm saying? And he brought that green light, which is that crossroad light, activated it, it's right there at the horizon. You feel what I'm saying? And said, come up here. You know what I mean? Come get your crown. And then he did it. And now we look around, we got to come back down here to the green and say, okay, y'all ready? Come on now. Come on, goddammit. I'm tired of, you know what I mean? But I want my moon. I want my moon. Get your stupid ass. You know what I'm saying? Back over to where we said it was time to go. You know what I mean? But niggas is proud, and I get it. That's why a lot of niggas who was associated, and they were paid, at one point in time, people would have probably aligned with me. Like Bashir, the rest of them niggas. But then they're associated with 19 Keys, so you know how that shit go. They couldn't do it, because they walking around with the same shit on their head. One day you're going to come home. One day you're going to realize, first of all, if anybody would have been under the moon, it wouldn't be men. Let's get that clear. You understand? It would not have been men. The ones who would have been under the moon would have been the women. If they were under the moon, because they had actual orders like under Yemaya, okay, that were for the moon. You didn't, unless you're talking about Sin, which Sin or Zuin, the ancient Mesopotamian god, gave you Shaitan, which makes sense. All right, so we already grabbed niggas from the darkness. Y'all do you get the visual? Okay, so then you get why he had an issue with me. 19 Keys had an issue with me before I ever said his name. You know what I mean? That was weird to me. Before I ever said his name, it's like, and you could tell. There were certain things you could tell about because people would come. That's why it affected their psyche. You speaking on certain things, that's, you know, they making posts about it. But they weren't talking about that. But they make a post about it, but they trying to tear it down. And it becomes, every time I made a post, niggas were trying to combat it like they thought we was competing. You get what I'm saying? So that's why when I called him out, he said, this deeper than competition. Remember the Survive song? I said, niggas talking about this ain't competition like I'm in a bit to compete or something. I didn't come here to compete with y'all. You feel like that. I didn't say nothing like that. You feel like I didn't say nothing about that. You know what I mean? The people are going to have questions. Why did y'all act like he wasn't here? Maybe that's the reason. The reason why you didn't want people to know about it is because I was going to bring people right back around to the true light. And then that's, your business can't thrive in the true light because your business right down here. You understand? So the father business or the farther business is up here saying, hey, look, watch this, y'all. Higher level, right?